actually kind of annoyed.
I feel like when it comes to food, I'm like always going to side on the person who's having an overreaction, and I'm going to be like, no, that's totally fair. That's correct.
Bless you.
Yeah, Richard
Rob.
calls it food sad. I have to do a lot to avoid food sad situations.
Yep. Yeah, I get food sad whenever, like, one of the options on the table for lunch is, like, Subway sandwiches. And I'm like, no, I don't, no.
That's a food mad situation.
We live in Vegas. We can get anything. We don't need Subway.
I will eat Subway, and I actually have no problems with Subway, but like that's just like peak Florida man culture that I've never escaped.
Yeah, I just ate too much Subway as a young worker, and now I can't walk by one without feeling my my throat catch from vomiting.
I find that if you just take grilled chicken and you just put hot sauce on it, like it's so hard to fuck that up. And then you just like melt some provolone, and they can do exactly that. It requires no skill. It's really hard to fuck. And I definitely am still in the state of mind where I'm like, it's grilled chicken. It's good for me. It's fine. It's healthy. That's healthy.
Of course. It's grilled. Yeah. How bad could it be?
There's no breading on it. It's fine. This is basically, I should celebrate myself with some chocolate.
Oh, how's Tess recover? Speaking of sweet things, how's Tess recovering after her spay?
She's fine. Funny short story. So, when we were debating keeping the cat, so this did end up pretty much becoming Kayla's cat, which is fair. Like all 4 other cats like prefer me. This one ended up becoming hers, and so we were talking about keeping Tess. She was like, okay, but you have to pay for Tess's spaying. And I was like, well, how much is that? And she's like, oh, like around $200. I'm like, yeah, sure, whatever, fine. And then, so she goes and gets Tess spayed, and, you know, she brings Tess back. Tess is like all gussied up in her little donut onesie and looking happy and everything. And I was like, great, mission successful. And then I was like, so how much did that end up costing anyway? And she's like, oh, it was like $700, and like continues on with her sentence. And I was like, what? Well, I was like, no, let's have a discussion about that.
Whoa.
And so she explained to me, and I trust her. She's the former vet tech. I guess normally when you do kind of like the cheaper spays and neuters, what happens is they actually take your pet and they put them in like a clear box and basically gas them to get them to like go to sleep. They give them like an anesthetic. Is that the right word? What's the word I'm thinking of? Yeah,
anesthesia. Yeah,
they give anesthesia. And so like the poor pet in the box is like, you know, understandably freaking out and like trying to get away from the gas. And then they just pretty much put him up on a slab and then just proceed to kind of like 10-minute sniff job and then sew them back up and send them on their way. And apparently like it can be pretty painful. And then obviously like the process of taking them under is also just very stressful for them. And so I was like, okay, so what did our $700 get us? And she's like explaining, she's like, oh, they gave her like a first thing to calm her down, and then another thing to calm her down, and then they gave her like a nice injection of anesthesia, and then they took their time, and they gave her a little onesie. And I was like, okay, great. Like, I'm glad she's doing well and not stressed. But I did not realize there was such a delta. It's like going into a gacha shop menu and you're like, I don't know, I'm just gonna have the bronze pack, or you could get like the platinum pack for your pet. Like, I did not realize there were so many options when it came to spaying or neutering your pet. Sorry, that's a story that was pretty mind-blowing to me.
Oh yeah, and also like going off of that, they, especially when you have the spay and neuter clinics too, they just line them up like little sleeping babies in a big row, and then they're just like doot doot doot, and do another one, do another one.
That's insane to me. Like, the more I think about it, the more I'm aware that's not actually insane. But like as a pet lover, like that is just nuts to me. And so yeah, she went to like I was making light of it, but I was like, oh, what did she go to like a boutique vet? Right? Did she get like a mani-pedi? She actually did. It turns out got her nails.
She did get a mani-pedi.
You know, she went to a doctor. The doctor put aside like a solid hour to do it and do it right. And like so yeah, anyway, to answer your original question, she is hanging out in Kayla's room, but she is like otherwise like doing fine and already trying to get back to kitten shenanigans. So she's absolutely doing well.
That's good. Hey.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw the picture of her curled up in her donut onesie and the big fluffy tail. I'm like, she looks content.
It's so funny whenever I go into, because the door shuts so the other cats and Valir don't get to her, but whenever I go in there, Kale like turns around in her chair and like she has like a blanket on with Tess like looking like drugged And it's just like a fucking like, hello, Mr. Bond moment as they turn in their
Turns
chair.
around, fingers steepled. Good evening.
Yeah, but she's drugged, but she's clearly having a good time. So I don't know. Glad it all went well.
That's good. That's good.
Yeah.
Bonsai, you got back from grocery shopping? Not as exciting.
And we bought a house.
Oh, well, wait. Nice.
Yeah. It's been a week.
Holy, that escalated quickly. Wait, you found a house already?
Yeah. So I got back to Washington on Thursday. Saw a few houses, then saw another one on Friday. And then Rachel was like, "Yep, that one looks like it." So she flew up Monday morning. We went and saw our top two. We put in a bid that night. They accepted offers the next day.
What?
We did a little negotiation. We won it, and now we're in the whole closing process.
That was so quick.
Yeah. I mean, like a month ago, we didn't know what like a mortgage was or like house buying or like any of those terms. Like, and now we feel super educated.
Holy shit. Congratulations.
Thank you.
You're a mortgage owner.
Yeah, we're excited.
Clap. That's awesome. Without divulging too many details, can you tell us anything about the house?
It's way bigger than we were prepared for. So we gotta figure out some D&D rooms to fill it, and maybe some streaming rooms. I don't know. People have to come visit. I'm gonna be like saying all the same things that you've been saying for the last couple of years.
Come visit. We got room, etc.
Oh,
etc.
we got a little tree house. That's one of my most exciting parts.
Wait, like a
Backyard
bona fide
slopes
tree
down
house?
into a creek. Yeah. Yeah.
Thank God everyone bought houses in different fucking states. Well done, idiots.
Well, this is when climate goes super unpredictable, or continues, I guess. We'll all have like different escape options.
Mm-hmm. The economy is in shambles.
Yep.
That's what Wall Street tells me anyway.
But
it also
it is
tells me
true.
the jobs. It tells me the jobs reports are really good and unemployment is at a historic low. So I don't really know who to believe at this point.
I mean, I'm just waiting for Rob to get a house in like Oregon so we can just do like we can start from Washington and then go to Oregon and then hang out with Rob and then go to Cali and then dip over to Vegas and I mean fucking Wang Doodle is just off in the fucking boondockies.
Yeah, I don't.
I'm just a travel team. Don't worry about me.
Yeah, I might also just be a travel. I don't know. It's like really hard with everything in the video games industry. Like for the record, like I think my situation's perfectly fine, but with Kayla still at Bungie, I'm just like, I'm like maybe we don't buy a house now. But we were turning the corner on like buying the little townhouse we're in Long Beach. But I think, yeah, I kind of just want to get to the middle of the year and see what Bungie does with the the final shape first before we start making those decisions.
Yeah, God.
Yeah.
It just reminds me of like, you know, people we used to work with on the team who have moved down and then proceeded to get laid off like 6 months later and bought a house, and I don't wish that on anyone. Like that is the worst thing I could possibly think of. At least in the game
that's
industry.
definitely scary.
I hate it.
Yep.
Rain, how's your last week?
Oh, it was delightful. But we're
That
getting a
doesn't
new
sound
cat tomorrow, so
delightful.
that's fun.
Wait, what?
Yep.
Go on.
Willow's rescue reached out to Nicole and was like, "Hey, I know somebody who's trying to find a home for another cat who has, you know, similar circumstances as Willow." And we, of course, didn't say no out of hand. And we talked to the actual rescue, and the rescue fell in love with us. Was like, "Oh yeah, you guys are totally our first choice." And we were like, no, but you have somebody else. You should see if they want the cat first. And they're like, "Well, to be honest, like you guys are like head and shoulders, like, you know, our first choice. So like, are you sure?" And we're like, but they're like, "Oh, but no pressure, but pressure."
Pressure?
So we have a new 7-month-old boy who's missing his back feet. He actually has all the way down to his ankles about on both legs. So he has a little bit more back leg than Willow, but he doesn't have any of the foot pads.
Oh,
So like he doesn't have as good of traction as Willow, but he still has like the little ankle joint. His name is Cricket currently, but we're discussing names. So he shows up tomorrow.
oh.
Yeah.
You're gonna have like 2 cats and only 3 like sets of beans between them.
Well, we have 2 cats and 1 complete set of beans, so we will have 1.5 sets of beans amongst 3 cats. Yeah. I mean, we don't like we don't want to get a fully functional cat, right? Like at this point, we want to keep everybody kind of on a level playing field ish.
On the same footing.
Yeah. I was joking yesterday. I was like, okay, now we're gonna have 3 cats, all with slightly different disabilities. So we have like the asymmetric StarCraft, faction composition. So now we just need to work on like our competitive balance and like keep our competitive balance in line. We don't want to add any new factions with new mechanics. That's what our house is gonna be.
Introducing cats with normal feet created a strategy.
Yep, exactly. This is not gonna be like full fucking like magic color wheel situation. We're gonna keep it at more of like a solid like RTS level of optionality.
What if you got him like little like rubber nubbin covers so he could get a little more traction on the ground, instead of like fur on the floor, he's got little rubber nubbins, and then he can.
We do actually have some of those for Willow. She doesn't like them very much, and they don't really fit very well, to be fair. So it's just better to like let her go with her beans and rugs. Like he's really proficient on rugs, so we're just gonna have a lot of rugs, which we already have in our house. We just buy rugs instead of carpet. And actually, like the gaps between the rugs is actually good, because Willow can just go zoop right across them, doesn't care. But King, like he'll chase Willow, and he's actually faster than her on like the one runner rug that we have down the main hallway. So when she's trying to get away and he's chasing her, they literally get to like the edge of the rug and she just keeps going. He has to hit the hard brakes and like fall face first and like everything. But it, again, it adds, viable strategy and like counter strategy. There's like counterplay. It's fine. It's good. It's all great.
That sounds adorable. Meanwhile, my chunky cat uses our living room rug as a scoot machine. Every time he like gets out of the litter robot, because he's a big boy, I have to chase him down with the wipies and give him the little sanitary wipe. The courtesy wipe. So that's my job lately. But if I don't catch him, he'll look me in the eye and then he'll sit down on the carpet and stick his little feet in the air and do a heckin' scoot. And I'm like, this is not proper use of the rug. So yeah, that's Tabby time. Also, our neighbor has a cat, and she is an indoor-outdoor cat. So whenever she's like a tortie, and whenever she jumps the fence, oh my god, Tabby just fluffs up. His tail gets huge, and I swear to God, he's like the size of a puma. Whenever he sees that cat, he just gets so big and irritated. All he hears is meow, meow. This big big boy hates everything else except the cats in our house. Just he sees her outside and he's like wow, wow, and Ayani's like, what are you looking at, Tabby? Ayani doesn't give a shit about any cat. He's like, oh hey Noah. Yeah. Tabby's very funny. He's dude, one of these days I gotta just record, because he'll stand on his feet.
Yeah.
And with a huge tail. And he comes up to like my waist when he's standing on his hind legs. Because he's just, gargantuan cat. And I hold him up like, you want to see this tiny cat that's like half the size of you? Like, yes. And I want to fucking kill her, murder her. Like, oh.
Yeah, and the thing is, as a recent Torty owner, it would come down to that. They are such spicy fucking cats.
Yeah, the neighbor's cat, the neighbor's Torty, is a spicy meatball. She doesn't let me touch her, and I give her the piss, and she's just like.
All four gay boy cats in this house are like super gentle for the most part, but man, the fucking tortitude on Tess sometimes is just overpowering. I've never dealt with this before.
I definitely have the one orange brain cell boys.
Yeah, that's Stukov too. Like he just does things and you're like, oh, you didn't win the brain cell lottery today, did you, huh? And he's like, no. Tess is like a really smart and just devious and just fucking mean-spirited. She waits for the developmentally disabled cat to start running, and then like when she's not, recovering, she'll like jump out and just slap the shit out of him and just send him sprawling.
Oh, Tess!
She's not in it for the competition. She's just in it for the pleasure.
Oh yeah, she's just full chaotic evil. She's a bad egg.
She's not looking for a fair fight. She's just looking for a fight she's gonna win.
I've said to Kayla a few times, I was like, are we sure we're not adopting her out? And Kayla gets like really ornery with me because like Kayla, like that's the one cat that prefers Kayla.
Oh yeah. Oh.
She's like, you don't understand. She's a sweet baby.
Oh yeah. Speaking of sweet babies, Bonsai, you're bringing your two glorious children up to Washington with you.
Oh, of course. Yeah, it's gonna be probably in like April after I'm done with some events in Europe.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, then we're gonna do the whole drive from California to Washington. But that's my secret plan. Don't tell Rachel. Don't let her watch the stream. But to kind of fill up some of the rooms, I'm already plotting more little fluffy boys.
Oh.
Speaking of events, just really quickly, so I'll be around next week, and then the next 2 weeks after, I will be gone for a business trip to Japan.
What? You sussy baka?
Well, I mean, sometimes you got to scam yourself into trips to Japan. I don't know what to say.
Wait. Okay, so. Okay, this is 2 weeks from now. Hey, let's run around Japan together. We were talking about going to Japan as well, but you're gonna be on business, so that's not half as fun.
Yeah,
business in quotes.
Well, I mean, I'm touring a venue. I'm meeting.
business.
Yeah, to be fair, I set it up to where I'm touring a venue. I'm meeting with some agencies. I'm like meeting with the Japan team, and I don't know why, but the CFO was like, "Yeah, just go meet with the Japan like regional team and inspire them and stuff." And I was like, "Yeah, okay, sure."
Inspire them with what?
I don't know. That's a really good question. I'm going to dig
a rousing speech.
Well,
a PowerPoint presentation.
Arousing something.
Yowie?
It's gonna be like 3 bars and then some like bangers at karaoke.
I mean, that's actually that. Yeah,
actually,
that's 100%. We're gonna start at an izakaya, and then we're gonna go to a bar, and then we're gonna go to a karaoke place. And I'm gonna sing the opening to Neon Genesis Evangelion.
Is it a?
Perfect.
It's a Kanto group, right?
Yeah. This is gonna be in Shinjuku area. So.
I was gonna say, because if it's Kansai, you could definitely start at like an okonomiyaki place and
have
a great time.
Someday in my lifetime, I want to have like the traditional like Kansai like drinking out night, but I would need a specific group of people to enjoy that.
I'm 100% in if you're doing that.
Well, 100% go to Japan and we can do it.
The gang goes to Japan. Arctis, Japan.
Well, the gang goes to Kansai specifically. That's a different experience.
We can be your, prospective clients. And then you can justify it as a business expense.
Ah, yes. You see here, Arctis stocks are only going up.
You know what? I got the numbers. Our growth is doing pretty good.
Well, I need it to be exponential in 2024.
1 + 1 is 100% growth.
Incredible.
Thank you. Thank you.
Room for aggressive expansion.
All right, Heath Ledger's the Joker.
Do you want to play a game?
I would actually. I'm sure Drew would like to play a game. We've spent 39 minutes not playing Arctis.
Wow, I just wanted to hear about your cats.
I know, but it was too good. The caster brain kicked in. I was like, ooh, there it is. That's the spot.
That's fine. Welcome back. Bonus session. Yeah, thanks for making it out on Saturday. I mean, apparently everybody's been very busy this past week, and I have not been, because I have done very little.
You mean
That's
you
it.
didn't
That's all.
buy a house? You didn't buy a house, spay a cat?
No.
Get a
Didn't-
third legless cat?
I was thinking, I mean, we have been thinking about getting, another cat, but that's neither here nor there. We haven't gone to the shelter yet, but we are probably going to. But I haven't done it yet, so I can't just talk about theoretical, like, oh yeah, I was thinking about, for example, going to Tokyo Disneyland. Haven't bought plane tickets yet, but it's a nice thought. But yeah, my week has been very dull. A little bit of World of Warcraft, a little bit of raiding. That's it. Been good.
Sounds like a good week.
Nice and quiet. And apparently DoorDash missing my food order and delivering 2 drinks.
Well, that was the low point.
Everybody got your drinks? Everybody ready for a quick recap? We won't do a super long one, so we can get back into the game pretty quick. All right, I hear no dissension. Any
Yep,
dissenters?
I've got my gamer subs. I'm ready.
Perfect. All right, get your gamer fuel and uncork your prime, because here we go. Previously, on Arctis Ascended, you all had the most dangerous task of delving into Eris Lunesti's dreams, or at least his subconscious, to see if he is worthy of wielding this famed Lunesti Moonblade that you have gone through so much trouble in order to get back from a certain mercurial lord in Auralia. But that's neither here nor there. With Moonblade in hand, and Drion's impatience in the other one, trying to figure out how to open this Moonblade to access the pigment inside in order to get to the Great Ice Library, has been hinging on the actions of a single person. That's, Eris Lunesti. And thus, with the Somniari ritual, you all were able to open a portal into Eris's subconscious in order to battle any of his personal demons that he might be dealing with, as opposed to the literal demons that Bonsai may be used to. Inside Eris's head, it seemed like his primary concerns, at least the ones that Tapio had presented to you, were of his previous city of Borealis, the Thieves Guild, and the people he was trying to take care of, while he was, I don't want to say ruler of the Thieves Guild, but certainly an overseer. And as you went around this nightmarish version of Eris's dream, some familiar faces and some unfamiliar faces were found within. It seemed like Eris was worried that the slow would overtake Borealis and kill most of the residents inside, turning them into magically warped undead that would slowly ravage the land. And inside Eris's dream, you also found a clockwork version of Lou, set to give you a curious set of messages. In his last throes, as well as Eris's manifested despair and anger taken out on some of the other residents of Borealis that you had met before. A warm wall to the south heralded a extreme danger, which thankfully you didn't have to deal with. But the butcher and the devouring angel inside also proved to be very interesting opponents. As you worked your way through Eris's dream, you finally found the crux of his problems, a Nihilith. A brain worm eking into his subconscious, filling his mind with thoughts of uselessness and hopelessness. And you put it to the sword. Or, well, the dream sword? The dream gun? Whatever. Either way, you disposed of the Nihilith and returned to World Tree Tapio. to see if Eris was going to wake up. But it seemed like Tapio had another trial in mind. It wasn't just Eris's overwhelming thoughts of concern of Borealis that were eating at him, also it was the Nihilith. But Eris was also worried that he knew the capabilities of the Somniari and the power of being able to enter and control someone's dreams. And Eris worried that, as king, and was suffused with this power, then what would happen if he let it get to his head? If he let it get to his head. And thus you were faced Eris as a dream scourge upon a twilight bridge, hoping to finally put an end to his worries once and for all. And the Eris dream scourge was turned into a feeble-minded entity by Rain, and quickly dispatched by the rest of the party. So it seemed like there really wasn't anything that Eris had to worry about. But as you went back to Tapio, perhaps you found the true reason of the trials. Not just the power of friendship and support, and making sure that you were there for one another always, but also to ensure that the powerful dream-delving powers of the Somniari could be put to an end, just in case they got a little carried away. But now you've learned a little bit about the Somniari, the Dream Eaters, the Somnivores, Alara and Eris, and Eris's genuine inner concerns. After defeating the Dream Scourge and returning to Tapio, Eris has now regained consciousness, and you all as well. Drion, you may have been possibly the most scarred by Eris's dream encounters, as the pain that you felt within Eris's dream as he utilized the Lunesti Moonblade against you. Well, it was very concerning how powerful Eris was, especially in toe-to-toe combat. And Drion's death and just how close you came to meeting your maker still rings in your head. You're not sure how much time has passed since the Somniari ritual, but you all are regaining consciousness in a different place, in slightly unfamiliar surroundings. Where are you? And what happened to the ritual? That is where we will start today, as you have finished your trial with Eris Lunesti, and you're exiting the dreaming, and you wake up in unfamiliar surroundings.
If you get your ass beat in the dreaming, does that damage translate to the real world?
Absolutely. You ever have a fucking just awful nightmare all night, and then you wake up and you're tired and you know you haven't slept at all and you're grumpy and exhausted? That's kind of how Drion feels, but it's happened every day for the past year. That's just kind of how it feels. There's no sleep. No sleep till Brooklyn.
Ouch.
But yes, if you do die in the dream, it is essentially brain death, and the potential to turn you into something darker. Let us return back to triple question mark, where you all are regaining consciousness from your endeavors in the dreaming. One moment, please. Cat, your Tabby in the background. Oh, I think it's like wow, wow, looking for me. He's the clingy one. Wow. Wow.
Mungus?
Mungus. Let's start with Rain. Rain. You wake up in an unfamiliar place, although there's a familiar figure next to you. In this bed, covered by a thick, satin-like blanket. You wake up. Your head is cradled by 2 thick pillows, and the sleeping form of Eris, curled up tightly on his side, is next to you. The room is lit by a couple of small candles, giving meager light to the room. A table sits in the south corner, one of the chairs slightly ajar, as if it were pulled out and someone was sitting there at one point or another. For Bonsai, you too regain consciousness, and although your bed is not quite as fancy, you find yourself in a room, and again, a table to the east holds a single candle, providing some small amount of light in the room. There are other beds in the room with you, Bonsai. They're not fantastic, but they certainly serve their purpose. A thick gray twill blanket has been thrown over you, and you are tucked in tightly, like a child. Wangdoodle, you too wake up in a bed that is much too large for you, and a single lit candle. Excuse me, for you, a single lit, oh my god, lantern, I couldn't think of the name of the fucking thing, sits on the table to the east. The room is covered in dust, and the bed itself does have some clean sheets on it. And you are also tucked in with a heavy twill blanket, and soft fluffy pillows are under your head. Let's end with Dreon. Dreon, you feel terrible. As you regain consciousness, exhaustion has fallen over you. Dreon, for today, you are going to be rolling with exhaustion 1, meaning most of your skill checks and saves will be made at disadvantage. You feel the dreaming has taken a significant toll on you, Dreon, and as a Leonin, you are partial to your catnaps, and you feel like you haven't slept in weeks. Strangely enough, your body is bound with bandages in certain places, one wrapped tightly across your chest, another over your arm, and a slightly warm rag has been placed over your forehead and eyes, and it smells like lavender and mint, and perhaps even a little bit of catnip. It is an attractive smell, and as soon as you smell it, you feel your whiskers and ears twitch as you are becoming more alert to your surroundings. Your vision swims as you are struggling to discern reality from the overwhelming sense of exhaustion from the dreaming. And as your keen nose picks up the smells around you, the room is filled with herbs and poultices. Some of them avidly chopped, half concocted. Some potion bottles, half used. Their contents unknown. The more curious thing in here is Kire, who is sleeping in a chair to your northeast. She's passed out, her little satyr legs dangling in front of her. In one of her hands, a towel, and in the other, her dangling fingertips, there is a small can, like a flat canister, where remains of an empty poultice can be found. We will start with Rain. As Rain, Eris is sleeping deeply. You can hear him snoring away. You do not feel the utter exhaustion that Dreon might feel, but reality is slowly creeping in. he tosses a little bit and throws an arm over you and kind of holds you slightly tighter to himself.
Can we pass back to Dreon, actually? I'm way more interested in what's going on there.
Okay, we pass back to Dreon while Rain and Eris get a little more spooning in.
Yep.
Dreon, upon coming to consciousness, without picking up on anyone else around him or what's going on, he just groans in exhaustion, fuck, I hate magic. And like he doesn't immediately move, his exhaustion being like such as it is. It takes like a few seconds, like waking up.
Oops.
When you just like know you did not get enough sleep. And after a while, he kind of starts to look around. And at first, like he doesn't really like register that Kire's there. Like some part of him thinks like this must still be dreaming. And so he continues to look around, and like 20 or 30 seconds pass before he looks back around and like it registers that he's actually awake. And he just goes quiet. He's like does not know how to deal with the current situation. Like he's not fully sure where he is, what exactly is going on. He's just aware that he is deeply exhausted, and there's this person in the room who he's interacted with a few times. They've all been kind of weird interactions.
And Dreon, because the dreaming, at least Eris's dreaming, felt so real. You saw the hatred burning in the dream scourge's eyes. You felt the chill of the moonblade slice into your fur. And as you look down, there are bandages on you. Are you sure that was a dream?
Yeah, Dreon after a moment of like looking over at Kire does like look down and take stock of himself. And he starts feeling around, and as he pushes his hands to the wounds, like he feels the ache.
There is an ache there, like an old wound that has been healed over, but it feels fresh, like an old man noticing that the rain is coming because his knees are starting to hurt. But there is no visible wound there. But the searing pain of the moonblade, the sharpness of it, the precipice of death that you felt as you looked over that twilight bridge into the eternal darkness of the cosmos, and that you were just one boot push away from plummeting into the dreaming. It is sobering and surprising that even someone's thoughts could have such a lingering effect in the physical world.
As he's pushing his hand to the wounds and experiencing the pain, even though he can't really see anything visibly wrong, he stops and remembers what Cressida was discussing, everything that happened in the dreaming. Yeah, and seconds just pass as he's like registering how close he was to dying. And after a minute, he tries to swing one leg off the bed to try to start pushing himself up.
Dreon, make me a dex save.
At disadvantage?
Yeah. You are exhausted. I'm actually going to mark you with exhaustion 1. Exhaustion 1!
Oh no.
A 7. As you begin to throw your legs off of the side of the bed, the wood underneath you creaks loudly, and your ankle brushes a empty potion bottle, which clatters and falls on its side. Doesn't spill anything, as it was empty, but it's enough noise to wake Kire. Huh? Oh. Dreon, are you awake?
He like doesn't immediately answer. Like after a few seconds, he's like, "Yeah, where are we?"
She rubs her eyes with her left hand, but you notice her right hand go immediately to the side of her waist. Her gaze goes from a bit drowsy to sharp and clear as she looks at you. We are in the basement of House Lunesti, and we've been given some room to recover after the ritual. She presses her lips together. You had some nightmares.
I got stabbed by a sword. It was more than a nightmare.
She's quiet for a moment, and looks pensive. Dreon, make me a perception check. Wow, 22 with disadvantage. As your vision swims, as you still try and focus on this reality, you see that Kire also has a couple of bandages on her, although these are, visibly leaking a little bit of blood.
What? Wait, what happened to you?
She, frowns. As you all emerged from dreaming, many of you were still asleep. Soundly, in fact. But not you, Dreon. You thrashed in your sleep. You were fighting off something, like your life depended on it. We couldn't rouse you. Water, slapping, pulling the tail, nothing would bring you out of it. You cried out some names in your sleep. You fought as fiercely as any warrior I've seen on the battlefield. All claws and teeth, slashing at some unknown enemy. It took a little bit to get you back here, Dreon. And I have to say, you've got some sharp claws.
Dread doesn't say anything immediately. He does wince though, like visibly. He looks down at his claws to check for blood. Like, would he see any?
There is definitely blood under your claws. Long dried and flaking off.
Dreon is going to continue to try to push himself now up to a full seated position. Do you want another dexterity check?
No, you can sit up in bed just fine. That's fine.
All right. Dreon sits up and just averts his gaze from looking at her for a few seconds, and then finally just says very quietly, sorry about that.
Can't quite blame you for it, Dreon, but I dare say you have some demons in your head that you are still fighting off.
Was it my demons I was fighting?
Certainly seemed like it.
Dreon grunts.
I think we all probably would face a bit of our own personal demons in the dreaming. What, it's just made up of thought, isn't it? Good or bad.
Fucking thoughts and magic and moonblades, he complains.
When you keep all that anger and rage bottled up inside, Dreon, when you have a moment of weakness, sometimes other people might get hurt.
He's like a lot more somber than usual, and he just stops and shakes his head and looks down into his lap, and I should have known if I fucking charged him. What did I think was going to happen? It was his fucking dream. He's just kind of mumbling to himself.
Here. She gets up off the chair, wincing a little bit, and moves over to Dreon. Oh. She picks up the poultice that was on the ground. A thick Vaseline-like spread meant to put over wounds. Here, let me take a look at you.
He kind of fights her a little bit. He's like trying to he's like, no, don't worry about me. You're bleeding. You gonna be okay?
I will be fine. You, however, are my patient, and so I will kindly tell you to lay down?
He does not seem for a minute like he's going to, but then he again sees the wounds and, you can tell he's clearly thinking something over and then just sighs and lies back down.
She takes the poultice and takes a big scoop with two of her fingers and takes the cloth that was on your head and smears it upon the cloth. Your head, although it is pounding from a headache, you smell the very strong smells of mint and catnip, a little bit of cinnamon and lavender. And she places it back over your eyes. I always believed in aromatherapy to calm the inner spirit. Why don't you just lay down and think about how everything in this room smells? Think about something else. Not you, not me, not what happened. Just focus on your breathing. There are more serious wounds than physical. And Drian, with how badly you thrashed about in your sleep, The words go unsaid, but she looks at you with genuine concern, and if you look back at her, she'll just pull the cloth that she has placed over your eyes down a little bit further.
As she does, Drian mouths like he's about to say something, and then he stops himself, and I don't know, his mouth kind of twists in what looks like is probably some version of regret, and he just listens to her, and he just lies there and just breathes.
There we go. But don't worry, Drian. Your friends are here. They're all here. Rain and Eris, Bonsai, and Wangdoodle. They're all in the rooms to the south.
He will, and I don't know if she'd immediately read his lips, but he just kind of says with a fucking twist of his mouth, just like, my friends, under his breath, and then just doesn't say anything else.
Yes, your friends. I'm going to see how they're doing, Drian. Will you at least promise me you'll stay in here until I get back?
Yeah.
You hear her soft hoof steps as she walks away. Opens the door.
He doesn't move while she's gone.
Okay. Bonsai, you hear a soft rapping at your door. It's not lose yourself in the music, the moment. No, she's just knocking on the door.
Yeah, Bonsai, as soon as they gain consciousness, they don't understand why someone tucked them in. That totally unnecessary. So they get up, set the sheets to the side, take stock of the situation, see the door, and start walking over towards it, and basically get to the door as the knocking happens.
Bonsai? Oh. Hello, Bonsai. Oh. Hi, it's me. Kire.
Kire. Did we meet before?
Yes, welcome back. If you're a little confused, you are in the basement of House Ludesti. The Somniari ritual is completed, and we took you back here safely to get some rest.
Where is everybody else, and more importantly, where's Eris?
Well, Drian, she points behind her to the door. Drian's in that room. Drian's taken a little bit of a wound. More mental than anything. He needs a little bit more care.
He should recover from that. He's experienced that before.
Not like this, Bonsai. I don't think Drian's ever experienced anything like this. The dreaming can be frightening, intense, especially for someone from Feronia who's been separated from magic for so long. I'm worried about him, and she pulls her vest around her a bit more, and if you look down, you can see that she is slightly bandaged.
Oh, looks like you were harmed too. And Bonsai reaches out, And touches the wound unless she pulls back.
No, she does not.
So yeah, Bonsai is going to do their thing and lay on hands. How wounded does she... Well, what level does she look like? Like, is she a pretty sturdy warrior?
She looks like she could probably take your full lay on hands charge.
Have
All
I
75 hit points. You have done a long rest.
Yeah,
Drion
let's do 50 of it.
Okay. Kire, closes her eyes. The healing powers of the Arborian channel through her, and she lets out just a almost raptful gasp. Ah, that is magic I have not felt in a long time. Thank you.
Yeah, it seems like this world has not felt it, and I'm happy to be a conduit for Arctis's power to bring back some sort of life.
She pulls away some of the bandages and looks down. That should take care of the physical aspect of it, but I'm afraid whatever went on in that dream has affected Drion beyond the ability for you to heal, Bonsai.
Maybe Rain could help. Do you know where she is?
I do. She's just around that corner. If you walk down the hall to the west, there's a door to the south. Both her and Eris are in there.
Oh, excellent. Please take me to her.
Of course. Shall we get Wangdoodle before we go?
Yes. Is he nearby?
He is. He's just next door. We can go around to the right here.
Yes, let's go.
Rap, 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 rap. Moonless, he's out in the music.
Bonsai just opens the door. Wangdoodle?
Oh, hello.
Looks like you've been hard at work with, whatever you're doing on those papers. It seems like Drion did not come out of our adventure unscathed, and we might need your intelligence to kind of solve through this puzzle.
Oh, of course. Was he showing like any kind of burn marks, or did he have any like blue traces on him?
Oh, I'm not sure, but he's just in another room over here, apparently.
Okay.
Drion's wounds are more of the mental kind. Seems like his pride has been wounded.
His whole pride?
The whole thing.
Oof. He was always talking about something attacking Feronia.
Well, you know lions and their prides.
The pun goes over Wangdoodle's head as he grabs all the papers and the scroll off of the desk and starts running out the door following the other two.
How are you feeling, Wangdoodle?
I'm okay. It's a little disturbing, but I think I'm all right. So just trying to get some fixes to my suit here. Make it a little easier to shuffle people around.
Kyrie, which direction did you say it was?
Right to the south. That door down there.
Ah, the fancy-looking one.
Only the nicest for Rain. It is her house, after all.
I thought this was Eris's house.
Hers by marriage, of course.
Did that complete? Were we successful?
In a sense.
Bonsai, with no idea of propriety or anything like that, just opens the door and walks in.
Eris is vigorously spooning Rain.
Ah, excellent, both of you. Excuse me, lordships? Whatever you are. Rain, we need your help. Drion's in a bit of a bind.
Okay. Could we maybe think about knocking next time, though?
Sure.
You just hear Kire laughing in the hallway. We might have to teach Bonsai what knocking is.
Well, I mean, if we don't, he'll find out on its own.
Or apparently we might need to teach Eris what locks are.
Eris
Oh,
is
I can help you
still
with that.
sleeping, half unconscious, and makes a audible groaning noise as rain slips through his fingers as she leaves the bed.
Rain will tuck him back in before leaving.
You can see a little bit of sweat dripping off his forehead, but hopefully that is the last of it.
Oh, no. Ongoing therapy is contingent, or contingent as part of the marriage.
Rain, I'm a little worried about Drion. As you all emerged from the Somniari ritual portal, Drion thrashed about like his life depended on it, all claws and teeth. I was able to subdue him enough to bring him back here, but Bonsai was kind enough to heal some of my physical wounds. You all have been asleep for about 5 days.
5 days?
She nods.
So did we get a long rest out of that?
Everybody but Drion.
Oh, okay.
We've made sure to make sure. We made sure that at least the spy from House Crichton has not been able to worm her way into the basement. It's given you a little bit of privacy in the process. But I'm a little concerned that whatever mental strife Drion experienced within the dreaming might still linger with him.
Wait, so 5 days? Does that mean we missed the moon cycle? Are we gonna have to wait another, 25? Before we can get that moonblade working?
No. Eris has most certainly been found worthy of that moonblade. And at least that
thank
part of the
Arctis.
ritual is complete. The moonblade is safe. Actually, it's under your bed.
Okay, so we're definitely going to lock this door. Rain turns around and locks the door.
Catherine has made sure to post more Raven's Blood scouts and guards outside of the castle. Now that you have all of the pieces that you need to access the Great Ice Library, we made sure to up some of the guard around House Lunesti. This is the point where we might be the most vulnerable.
And what's wrong with Drion now? He's just... Has he woken up? Is he unconscious still?
He just woke up. I don't know what he experienced in that dreaming, but it's like he was still fighting for his life when he came out of it. Nothing that we could do could rouse him from just the nightmares he was experiencing. Perhaps you could talk to him. I'm still a stranger, but I did what I could to offer some therapeutic smells, from our homeland, help soothe the mind and calm the spirit. It's helped a little bit. He's only grumbled at me twice.
Oh, he must definitely be feeling under the weather then.
Surely you could speak with him. Rub it in that he wounded me during his lapse in judgment. I fear the guilt may just be stacking on top of his already hurt pride.
Honestly, I kind of thought Drion was rather brilliant, but I guess he did lose, technically.
These types of things or experiences in the dreaming, and you know as well as I, feel as real as, you or I. And most certainly, this is something that he will remember for quite some time.
All right then, to Drion. Where are we going?
He's the first door on the right there. But be delicate with him.
I don't really know if that's actually, on the instruction labels for dealing with Dreon, to be honest. I think he gets weirder
scratches her
the more
head.
gentle you are.
Usually all I know about Leonin is that, well, they like to be brushed. Dreon, you hear the door open. There is a bookshelf that separates you from viewing whoever is walking in, but judging by the relatively soft, light footfalls, it is probably Rain.
Dreon, are you decent?
He doesn't respond at first, and you just hear groggy. What? Who is it? Like he had fallen back asleep.
It's Rain. I'm doing you the courtesy bonsai didn't do me.
I don't need any visitors.
Are you sure?
I'm just tired.
The missile is
Okay.
tired. He is eepy. He has had a full day of splashing bandits.
Yeah, he's just DB. It's fine.
You've been sleeping for 5 days, though, Dreon.
What? 5 days?
Mm-hmm.
I don't fucking know. When in your husband's dreams, shit did this to me.
Well, yeah, Yep, that did happen.
If you're gonna talk to me, can you come around? I can't see you.
As you round the corner, Drain, you see Dreon lying on the bed. There is a cloth that is covering his eyes, stuffed with a very potent-smelling mixture of herbs. The entire room smells delightfully of energetic herbs, mostly mints, some cinnamon, perhaps even catnip?
Is that patchouli?
What?
No, never mind.
You even see one of Kire's prized satchels, one that she always keeps at her hip, that is usually full of rare herbs from the southern lands. It is open and has been clearly used. The knives, the hammers, the mortar and pestles that have been sitting around all have, the room is just kind of a mess of various alchemic mixtures and poultices. It smells overall quite medicinal in here. Like a massive tub of Vicks Vapor Rub.
So, did he is almost sounds like he's struggling to talk to some degree. Did we get the Moonblade? Is Eris worthy or something?
Yes, we were successful. Mission accomplished.
All right, next is the Ice Library, yeah?
Yep.
All right, just come get me when we're ready to go.
You want to come get something to eat? Maybe punch somebody, make you feel better?
Dreon, as Rain says that, the thoughts of you thrashing in your sleep and slicing Kire's waist with your claws, almost exposing her innards, flashes through your mind.
No, I was told to stay here. I should stay here.
Okay.
Just go. Just come get me when it's time to go.
Kire walks in, and kind of crouches down near Wangdoodle. She's visibly hiding on the other side of the bookshelf, and presses a finger to her lips as she looks at Wangdoodle. There he goes again, always wanting to do things alone. Even after the dreaming, he still hasn't learned anything.
I mean, is that really something that, is that our responsibility?
As friends, it's all of our responsibility to make sure that we're, okay. I couldn't imagine having one of my sisters deal with such mental anguish on her own, and left with her own thoughts to torment her. especially after taking such a bitter loss. Drion is so full of pride, and I don't mean that in an ironic way.
Drian rolled a 19 perception check, so I assume at some point you would just hear this exchange if they're going to do it in the room.
Mm-hmm. You can hear it on the other side of the bookshelf, Kire's fevered whispering to Wangdoodle about her concern for you.
Drian doesn't respond. He pretends he doesn't hear it.
There's something as, well, Rain and I are not sisters by blood, obviously, but sisters by choice. And, well, Drian is a part of our family. And Rain cares for Drian, I care for Drian. I don't want to see anybody here getting hurt. The physical wounds, we can be mended with magic for the most part, but wounds of the mind? Those are much harder to deal with.
I mean, I understand where you're coming from with all of this, but at the same time, you know, I can also understand his pride. And, you know, I know what it's like to kind of be on your own and really only have yourself to support you. So, I don't know, I never saw it as a bad thing. It seemed to be a source of strength for him.
But where does that strength go? He feels like it's been taken from him. I'm sorry, I'm just musing. Perhaps I don't know what's best for Drion, but I know, at least in my culture, for satyrs, being alone is a fate worse than death. I couldn't imagine dealing with such trauma, such pain on my own. I've always had my sisters, people like Rain. I just feel for him, that's all.
If I could be so bold as to offer a suggestion.
Of course, Wangdoodle.
And the largest factor of all of this seems to be Drion. I think the best course would probably be to talk to him directly.
It's just, he's got all these walls up. Probably due to what he's experienced in the past. I can't change that, and I don't want to change that.
I mean, I don't know how it is for anyone else, but usually from what I've seen and the case studies I've read, you know, the walls are up there because of a lack of trust. If you only have yourself for your support, you're not going to trust anyone else to have your back like you have your back. So that would be my guess.
I only know a bit about Drion's past, but it seems like he's been hurt so often by so many people and betrayed every turn. Just wanted to show him that there are people here that care for him, that he can trust.
Rain might notice that if she's paying attention, that Drian is like fidgeting uncomfortably at this.
I feel like Rain can see both sides of the bookshelf right now. Rain's just like glancing back from Drian back to Kira. Like, awkward.
Mm-hmm.
Rain will kind of poke a head around the. You do know that everything was. You're not being very subtle right now, right?
What? What do you... Oh, sister, what do you mean?
Well, that's great news. Hey, Drian, you got a second?
Kira just blushes a little bit and steps behind Bonsai. Oh, dear.
Does all this have to happen here?
What? In this room?
Brianna just unconsciously begins trying to sit up again.
Well, if you want to keep sleeping, Drian, I'm certainly not going to tell you you can't. However, there's going to be an awful lot of strategizing and planning to do before we depart for the Ice Library. And I know that's kind of your thing.
Is it? He just laughs bitterly, and then manages to bring himself to sitting up and looks kind of shaky.
Well, typically things go better when we do plan. So, a little bit of strategy wouldn't hurt. That said, you're pretty good when you just jump right into things as well.
Can you give me my glaive?
Is the glaive somewhere nearby?
Yeah, it's propped up in the corner near Bonsai.
Raid'll just float it over with Mage Hand. Grab it.
Ooh, the comet glaive.
And a
Flies
Drian.
into Drion's hand.
Drian takes it and uses it to get himself up on 2 feet. Even then, he looks kind of shaky.
The exhaustion tears at your muscles, Drion. You feel like you have run back-to-back marathons. The exhaustion makes your knees weak, palms sweaty.
Mom spaghetti.
Mom spaghetti.
Drian actually trips and all the spaghetti comes out of his pockets.
No.
Oh, no, the spaghetti.
Drian is very visibly like not well, but he looks up with like holding to his glaive, which is propping him up, and he goes, "All right, let's go do these strategy meetings."
Drion, as you grip your glaive and you take your hand away, there are small flakes of blood on it.
Drian looks at it and just shakes his head.
Rain doesn't
Wank.
let go of the glaive yet. Just stares straight at Drian. Are you okay? Honestly. If you're not up for this.
He doesn't respond. He just like clings to his glaive.
Wang Doodle's looking around the room for some, we'll say in quotes, repurposable things like chairs and not structurally important wood.
Oh yeah, there's more tables in here than completely necessary. Some of them, especially to the north, being used to bottle various poultices and nerve-calming drinks that certainly Drion has been drinking in his sleep.
Drian looks up and he just weakly tries to yell, "Keurig, if you're out there, get in here."
You can hear clop, clop, clop. What was that, Drion?
Get over
You can hear
here.
her peeking her head around the corner.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to. I definitely don't remember doing it, but I'm sorry.
He gives you a soft smile. Of course I accept your apology, Drion. You weren't in your right mind. We did everything that we could to get you here safely, and that's what matters.
How do I fix what's wrong with me?
Nothing is wrong with you, Drion. He sits in the chair. You are just the sum of your life experiences, and we all deal with those in different ways. It seems like you just have a lot of things bottled up that seem to come out when you are at your weakest point. I can't fault you for that. It's like trying to fault you for being born. What is important is that we're all here together, and we've accomplished our goal.
All right, then I just need to sleep then, I guess.
A little sleep wouldn't hurt. But
Whoa, hang on. We have not accomplished our goal yet. We still have much to do.
Well, one goal of many, Bonsai.
baby steps.
Oh.
The moonblade shone as brightly as it possibly could under the eternal light of the moon. And now it will not leave Eris's side. It has found him worthy. And now you all have everything that you need in order to potentially access this ice library, this great repository of knowledge. in order to save Arctis. You have done great and selfless things. You don't need the guilt of what had happened at your weakest point to overwhelm you, Drion. Just know that, look around. We're all here, for you. And for Eris, of course.
As you say that last part, you can just tell he is just like, this is not sitting well with him. He is visibly uncomfortable as you talk about this, and I'll just sleep more. Just he takes his glaive with him, like he unless Rain pulls back, he's going to actually take the glaive with him as he lies down.
I won't patronize you with any further sappy sentiments, Druon, but I will just say I thought you were rather magnificent there, but you and Eris may have a little bit more in common than either of you would be willing to admit. So, I don't know. Maybe consider therapy before we have to implement ourselves into your dreams next time.
He very lowly under his breath as Rain leaves. Oh, that frickin' ass beating. And he gets back into bed with his glaive.
Drion, as you tuck back into the bed with your glaive binky, you can feel Kire's eyes on you. And every time you shut your eyes and you feel like you're drifting back off to sleep, a flash of something always crosses your mind. Eris's moonblade pointed at your throat as you lay on the ground looking up at him. Kire's fearful eyes as her blood is splashed on your claws and your glaive. Even the look of fear as Wangdoodle saw the devouring angel and narrowly escaped with his own life.
Dran sees this series of flashbacks, and he's like, "Well, that last one's not my fault. That ain't on me." Dran watches Wangdoodle go, and he looks at Kire and seems fine with Kire still being there.
All right, Dran, I don't want to interrupt you lying down, buddy, but I'm gonna need to take some measurements. So try to not move.
Measurements? Wait, what?
God damn it.
Dran doesn't fight it because he clearly doesn't have a whole lot of fight in him right now.
Wangdoodle quickly takes measurements of height, wingspan, the distance of things like, hip to the knee, and immediately runs over to the what he considers spare parts and gathers a bunch of wood and some scrap metal. All right, but don't you get some rest? Don't worry, I'll be right back. I'm gonna leave.
On the other hand, Kire moves back to the table to the north and begins mixing something in the mortar and pestle.
After Wangdoodle leaves, probably 30 or 45 seconds pass, and then he just kind of says, "You mind staying?"
She stops grinding whatever in the mortar. She doesn't look at you, but she turns her head to the side and nods slightly. Of course. I was just about to make some mint and chamomile tea. Would you like some?
Sure.
I find it is very calming, especially if after I've had a nightmare.
He nods and says, "If I can see you, I don't... Just better if you're here."
She turns back towards whatever she's doing, and you hear the soft grinding in the bowl. I do have a feeling she's smiling a little bit. Rain, what are you doing? Rain?
Aha, I muted myself.
You did. Bonsai's wandering around the halls. Actually, you know what? While Bonsai is wandering around, Bonsai, what are you up to? Bonsai, you notice there is a dried, large, very large smear of blood at the base of the stairs here. The smear looks like it has been cleaned. Make me a perception check. It's been cleaned, but not very well. Some discoloration remains.
Mostly Bonsai is doing what you said, just wandering around these halls. I don't think Bonsai was actually in this this house previously when the party was here. So they're just kind of contemplating, mostly realizing that everyone else has got to get their minds and shit together. So Bonsai's just waiting.
And you see just Bonsai meandering the halls. Wang Doodle, what are you up to?
Wang Doodle has his woodworker's tools and is basically putting together through the sounds of saws and hammers. Some sound automated. We're not going to worry about that right now. But he's putting together a frame designed to fit Dreon head to toe across his back to help him stay upright, but when he gets tired can fold into a chair.
Ah, very good. Wang Doodle, you are very busy building your apparatus. Rain. The snoring of Eris has stopped.
Needing Eris for anything that we're about to do, Rain gently raps on the door. Eris, dear, are you awake?
I am. Come in. He's sitting on the edge of the bed with the moonblade across his lap. He has his fingertips on it and he's just looking at it carefully. I can hear it. Whispering. Like it's far away, but coming closer.
That's a good sign.
It's comforting, like a chorus. Almost like song. I can't make out the words. Not yet.
See, you never had anything to worry about.
My only concern would be if I didn't have you all at my side.
Well, apparently it was critical to prove that, there was somebody by your side who could ruthlessly murder you if you ever became, evil Eris. So, lucky indeed.
At the very least, I feel my connection with this, whatever these voices are, growing. It's like, to put it mildly, waking up from a long dream. Feel a bit groggy. He rubs his head and then immediately looks up at Rain. Dreon. Oh, I remember. My concern.
Yeah, he's alive.
Is he all right?
All right. Probably not, but alive, yes.
I almost killed him.
Yeah, I think you and Dreon have a little bit more in common than maybe either of you two are ready to admit. So maybe at some point you can have a bit of a conversation with him before we end up having to dive into his dreams, because I'd really love to not do that again.
He nods.
Also therapy, like actual therapy, Eris.
What, like moon sage therapy?
Certainly not undead tree in the middle of the woods under a full moon therapy. That's all I ask.
Oh,
licensed professionals.
Then perhaps we should talk to some of the Somniari that are well versed in the ways of mental healing, not physical healing. Bonsai has that in spades. But the Moon Sages are certainly much more knowledgeable about this. They've dedicated their entire lives to healing the mind. If that is what Dreon needs before we proceed, then perhaps we should not take the risk.
I don't know exactly what Drion needs, but at least consideration would be a good start.
Do you think it's appropriate for me to see him now?
Maybe would. I don't know, honestly. Like I said, licensed professional. I'm not one.
Well,
We do need to go talk about this Moonblade and what we're going to do with the ice library situation.
that is a good idea. Oh, God, my everything aches.
Yeah, I did kind of whammy your brain pretty hard.
That's where this crippling migraine has come from. Dare say I don't remember much about my battle with Drion outside of... I remember him on the ground. I remember swirling cosmos underneath our feet. And then nothing.
It was a pretty glorious fight, if I'm being honest. Honestly, could have gone the other way if Drion wasn't previously wounded.
I'm glad he's well. But we
Like
need
I
to...
said, I don't think he's well.
I'm glad he's alive. At the very least, we do need to make sure that the castle is well fortified now that we have everything we need to access the ice library. This puts us in an odd position. He stands up and puts the Moonblade in a sheath and wraps it around his waist.
Alright, well, chop chop, no time to waste.
Let's go. Nope. Oh, sorry.
Nope. Doors work the other way, Eris.
There's no doors in the dreaming.
Is that why?
Wang Doodle, that's a lie. There are a lot of doors in the dreaming. Your chair/mobility apparatus is finished. And honestly, you've done a fantastic job. Wang Doodle, make me a quick sleight of hand check, please.
Doodle might be AFK. He said he was
Oh.
stepping away. I felt a little sickish there like 4 minutes ago.
Oh no, okay. Wang Doodle continues to build.
Ting, ting, ting.
Eris looks up the hallway to the north, and he looks at that door for a long time, and then he looks over at Drion's door. Is he in there?
He is. I have no idea what Bonsai is, or Wang Doodle for that matter. They just kind of wandered off.
He puts his ear to the door and just listens. Perhaps we
Don't
should...
be creepy, Eris. Just knock on the door. He's with Kire.
Oh. His knuckles are lifted off the door and... Knock, knock, knock. Kire, Drion. It's Eris.
It's Eris. Ah, God, people just won't leave me alone today.
Drion, do you want me to tell him to let you get some rest?
Yeah, I don't really want to see him right now.
She hands you a cup of steaming hot chamomile and mint tea with a hint of catnip in it. And with steaming mug in hand, one for her, she opens the door and takes a little sip of the tea. Good evening, our future king. I dare say Drion is not up for taking visitors right now. He needs his rest. He's had quite an ordeal, understandably, and there's no better healing for the mind than a good night's sleep. Eris, he respects that and nods. And then we will be upstairs whenever you are ready, Drion. Take all the time you need. Kire shuts the door.
You know, if it was an actual fight, I would have stops himself.
Oh, I do believe you would certainly. Kire makes a little false growling noises towards you and sits on her chair with steaming tea in hand and just enjoys the quiet.
For like half a second after she said that, he like very slightly chuckles, like very slightly.
You notice that there is no honey or anything sweet in your tea, just the bitterness of herbs to calm and clear the mind.
Bro, sugar makes you weak. You're drinking sugar.
Kira has loaded up her own with a half a cup of honey.
My God. I'm being taken care of by a child.
Yeah, it seems like Dreon is in good hands, apparently.
Yep, seems that way.
I think perhaps we should let him rest.
Great. Love it. Where to then? Bonsai, Wangdoodle, you want to come talk about a magic sword and a magic library?
You immediately see some branches peek around the corner. Oh, yes. Eris, you're up.
Hello, Bonsai. Well met.
Well met. Well met. Well
I
met.
must
Well
thank you for... Stop spamming emotes! Squelch. I have to thank you for everything that you've done. You and freshly realized Arborean. I cannot thank you enough. And what, this world tree Tapio? Did you feel some sort of kinship with it?
I don't know. It felt more like we were two sides of the same coin, but not peers or kin, as you call it.
It is my understanding that it is Tapio's boughs that shroud all of Polaris in eternal night and provide the much needed respite from the eyes of the sun. Come here, before we go upstairs, let me show you something real quick. My mother always told me about these lines of magic, ley lines, as they are commonly referred to, running underneath and through all of Arctis.
Yes, that's what we hear is being corrupted by the slow.
He looks at this door, and it has a large and heavy lock on it. He reaches into his pocket, fumbling for a key, and inserts it into the lock. As a part of, well, some of these world trees' reclusiveness, some of these areas where the ley lines cross, these apex points at one time provided Arctis the means to quickly travel the land, traversing across these rivers of magic, to get from point A to point B very quickly. But now, due to the encroaching of the slow, and how it directly affects these world trees, and how they span the plains, it has affected these apex points in different ways. One of the things we were worried about as he swings open the door and steps inside. And one of the things that House Vicadus wanted to covet so badly was the Somniari's connection to the World Tree. And not just us, but others like Catherine Ravensblood, all serving a common ground. Unfortunately, in self-preservation, he gestures at this large magic circle in the center of the room, Rain, you can make me an Arcana check. Bonsai, you can make me a Arcana check with advantage. For both of you, you have an understanding of what you're looking at here. This magical circle reminds you of the similar circles you've seen in the Arborean Glade that have transported you very quickly to places like within Auralia, like Mercurius's vault or Mora's memories. This is one of those points where the ley lines have crossed, and they've taken advantage of this magical system in order to build this series of portals. However, black roots have pushed their way through the stone underneath and cover this magical circle entirely. But the roots are now beginning to move very, very slowly, and motes of ash are quickly coming off of the roots. They no longer cover and prevent use of this portal as they're beginning to slowly dissipate. Seems like our venture into the World Tree's lair has caused an influx of magic. Hopefully, and I do say hopefully, hopefully we have reopened these ley lines for us to use at a later point.
Are you saying these are roots of Tapio?
He nods. It is my best guess, but I am assuming these are his roots, meant to prevent usage of this magical portal. But now, something has unlocked, something has changed. I don't know if it's you or me but I haven't seen any life in these roots in quite some time.
Can Bonsai tell if they are in any way poisoned or cursed or something along those lines?
Bonsai within 18, these dead-appearing roots are certainly from Tapio, and the decay that they have been putting off has actually avidly been pulling magic away from the ley line, preventing its use. Perhaps it's a side effect of the Somniari not having great influence in the area, and Tapio protecting itself from outside influence. But now, with the Moonblade being re-realized with a new leader, the Somniari coming together once again, their power and alliance causing a new influx of energy to flow in the night. And the decay is finally over, and new life can sprout anew. These roots should dissipate, and quickly, and soon usher in new life. That is the cycle. That is how it should be. Death begets life, begets death.
Yeah, Bonsai's gonna reach out and just touch one of the roots and just give it a little bit of energy of Arctis. So we'll do a little 5 HP worth of lay on hands.
Ooh.
So if it has any disease or poisons affecting it, if it's even a creature, hopefully that helps a little.
Bonsai, you are surprised to see the root visibly flinch away from your touch and the healing that comes with it. You, a child of Sika, a child of the World Tree of Light, is on the opposite end of the spectrum, and not everything that is living contains life. The death and the decay that Tapio commands has little need for life, and is just as natural as a growing tree is a dying tree. And the seeds that will come from the tree's death, I'm not saying Tapio is dying, but these roots certainly are, will usher in new life. So these roots of darkness will not be affected by your light-based magic.
Bonsai nods in understanding and then steps back.
Eriska just watches, very, very interested in what's going on. Bonsai being the epitome of the growth part of a tree's life cycle, bathed in the sun, growing and flourishing, learning anew. A fresh seed here in Arctis. And Tapio, the end of the life cycle, protecting the creatures of the night, and ensuring that the ever-baking lights of the sun do not cause the creatures within to wither. Eris takes a step back. It doesn't look, well, positive. This is certainly the most activity I've seen from this ley line in quite some time. I'm just hoping that after all is said and done, perhaps we can work on refreshing our relationships across all of Arctis, and not just Maginox. What do you feel about that, Rain?
Well, there's certainly a lot of people that need to be killed first, but beyond that, sure.
He nods. We'll keep an eye on this, and I'm just glad the Vicadans would not take advantage of this. It's perhaps the only thing we spared from them.
Seems like we need to stop looking at symptoms and instead go after the actual problem. Do you think this ice library is going to show us the way to Tiamat and an opportunity to defeat her?
I don't think it will take us to Tiamat, Bonsai, but I think it will take us to answers of how to deal with the slow, truly, not just, like you said, treating symptoms.
Hopefully this library is full of knowledge, as libraries should be. But it's what we do with it that matters.
I can be with you for this adventure for the first step, but there will be further steps of trying to defeat Tiamat.
Understandably so. Her influence, and everyone and everything, every disgusting demon that may work for her, continues to try and curry her favor and encroach upon our world. I will do whatever I can, and whatever is within Maginox's power, to help you combat the threat of Tiamat. This I swear.
Who knows, maybe we wake up Arctis.
We need you, Bonsai. We need everyone. We need the Arborians back. We need magic to once again be suffused through Arctis. We need the end of the slow. And then we can begin to heal. Shall we go upstairs?
Sure, just 1 moment. Wang Doodle!
Wang Doodle runs over and comes out of his room with a large apparatus wrapped up in a sheet. Yeah, I'm here.
I'm not gonna ask questions. Are you ready to go chat plan?
Yeah, where's Dreon?
Dreon's in his room.
Oh, well, I gotta get this over to his room first.
Okay.
Due to the size difference between Dreon and Wangdoodle, you notice that he goes from keeping it hoisted over his shoulder to it starting to sag down, and he's now dragging the sheet-covered apparatus across the floor.
It just sounds like he's dragging a massive pile of lumber across the stone tile. Skrrr, thump, 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 skrrr, thump.
There's some small clicks of you can hear some clicks of some some springs and hooks, the clunking of some wood panels together. Let's see, where was Dreon's room again?
To your right.
To my right?
Why don't you take a left there, and it will be the first door down this hallway on the right.
Right. Okay. I'll be right back. He runs and cuts a little too close to the centerpiece, and the apparatus hooks on it with a thud, and Wangdoodle gets yanked back by the sheet onto the ground briefly.
Mr. Wangdoodle, are you quite all right? Do you need any assistance?
Yeah, no, perfectly fine. Just forgot that I made this for someone who's not me and has size problems. Anyway, be right back.
I dare say I've seen and worked with a number of artificers during my time in Borealis, and it's rather comforting to see one in who was taught by Lou. They share similar qualities, and thankfully not the same attitude.
I was wondering where you were going with that.
Makes me a little homesick, but for some reason my worries about Borealis have been almost entirely quenched. I feel confident. Happy.
Wangdoodle, clearly prefaced by the sound of the thing he's dragging, come up to Dreon's door and gives it a knock.
Dreon, all you hear is skrrr, thump, thump.
Yeah, Dreon like had finally started to fall asleep and like awakens with a start. Oh my god, what is that?
But I'll get it, Dreon. Quietly, Kitty opens the door. Doodle, you're making such a ruckus.
Yeah, I know. But listen, if there was a way that I could have made this, get over here by itself, I would have. But unfortunately, this one isn't exactly powered. Excuse me. Try not to get tripped by this bag.
Oh, dear. What?
Oh my.
Oh, just thump, thump, thump. Kiddo tries to help, like, bring it into the room, picks up the other side. Okay, let me help you, Wangdoodle.
Dreon brings up a hand to his forehead, just massages it.
Wangdoodle wasn't ready and accidentally gets lifted off his feet briefly.
Oh.
Hey, a little lower, please.
Oh, sorry. She squats down a little bit.
Great. Dreon, listen, hey, gonna need you to roll over to your stomach real quick. I got something to help you out.
Wangdoodle, just leave it, please. Whatever it is, I'll get to it later, please. Thank you, but please.
Wangdoodle, why don't... Do you have any written instructions? A neatly bulleted list on how to use?
Any documentation on this feature?
Can you put that in the JIRA?
I can't imagine Lou's the documentation guy.
Oh, no. His confidence sucks.
No.
If you want to leave it with me with some instructions, what does it do, Wangdoodle?
Wangdoodle opens up the sheet and outlays a what looks to be a collection of wood and steel, for lack of better term, skeletal support suit. At the top, Wangdoodle takes out his artificer's tool and etches in head here on the top panel. And then down towards the bottom, where it seems to be of a humanoid shape, the exact size of Dreon, at the bottom he sketches in foot here, in the midsection where there are 2 lateral extensions, he puts arm here, arm here. All right, that's all the instructions you really need.
Oh. Kiri looks at it. Fascinating. Is this some sort of therapeutic device?
Yeah, it's basically going to be something to help him kind of stand up and reinforce his ability to move around. But, Drian, if you get tired, you can also just get yourself into a seated position. And I think, and he checks a couple gears and a couple hooks tied to strings or springs, and says, "Yeah, if you just get into a seated position, this should modify out into a chair. So you always have a place to sit down."
That is delightful. Oh, Wangdoodle, I always believe that after vigorous activity, you should always stretch. Could this possibly be used to help Drion get a little more flexibility in his muscles?
It definitely can.
Like one of those torture devices. What do they call it? The rack.
Drian at this point turns over and just stares at both of you.
I mean,
chuckles
this
awkwardly.
version's not. This version doesn't have rack capabilities, but there's certainly spaces to modify. It's for like lengthening the arms. Anyway, I think the rest of the group's waiting for me. Sorry, Drian. Hope he gets.
Oh, this is a fantastic gift, Wangdoodle. Thank you.
Oh, hold on. Almost forgot. Wangdoodle then grabs the sheet that Kiri probably notices came from his bed and bundles it back up. All right, I'm gone. Sorry.
Thank you.
Let me get out of the door first before I close it on myself.
What a kind gift. I'm not sure if it's therapy or torture, Drian, but I'm going to fold it up and I'm going to put it right here. And here, I'm going to give it a cup of tea. She just balances it on one of the arms that say, "Arm here." And whenever we're ready, we can try out this most assuredly will not explode torture/mobility device.
If I end up actually needing to use that, please just kill me.
Duly noted. At the very least, you're going to have to sit in it at least once to make him happy. You know that, right?
He opens his mouth like he's about to say the first thing that comes to his mind. And
She bolts up a finger.
And then he just sighs and lies back down.
Kiri just chuckles and sips her honey suffused tea. Well, Wangdoodle, that looked like a very nice gift. Thank you for making that? Eris seems a little confused. You have come back with both of your arms intact and no glaive wounds, so I'm assuming it went well.
Well, I mean, when we tested the glaive, I didn't take a glaive wound. It hurt, but yeah, no, I should be fine. I just wanted to find a way to make it that he could move when his body said he couldn't.
Fascinating. You and Lou are quite the same. I remember when Lou lost the use of his legs and built himself a similar device. His
Sense?
steam and borean shard-powered spider tank.
I mean, I liked it. I tried to convince him to, swap off to more of a wheeled chair kind of setup, because then he could use tracks that can go over better terrain instead of the spider legs, because that's too many points of failure. But also, they can't really support heavy ordnance.
And perhaps I should share a story about the time that Lou almost caused spiders to completely overrun the town. You see, when he was building his original chair, his design had an 8-legged system set up, similar to a spider. He wanted to be able to climb walls and ceilings in order to access every square inch of his lab.
Sorry, Eris, I don't mean to totally interrupt your story, but I do. The slow.
Oh, forgive me. Perhaps now that I'm not worrying so much about myself, I find myself a little bit more lost in the dreaming. Forgive me. Let's go upstairs. Lou did end up only settling with 4 legs, but the pheromones that he wanted to use in order to attract the spiders to see... Eris continues his story as he makes his way up the stairs. Almost caused spiders to entirely overrun the town.
That really kind of explains a lot of what we saw on the geothermal rift.
Oh, I'm certain many of the spiders that he had inadvertently summoned were probably still there to this day.
Well, they were, and they were all in Akashaba's fur. Multiple times, repeatedly.
And that's how the geothermic rift got horrible spiders. Drian, I'm gonna leave you down here.
Okay. Sleep it off, nerd.
One moment, please. Drian, I will put you on the map, just so you can see what's going on, but until you decide to move your character, I will not consider you a part of the map.
Okay.
Wang doodle. Okay. One moment.
You can't prove Mike Doodle did it.
Wheelchair explodes. Wow, that's accessible.
Sorry. I read ejector seat. Other people read self-destruct.
Yeah, either or. As you all walk up the stairs to the base floor of House Lunesti, the massive oaken door separating the 2 floors is currently guarded by the backside of Callie, who is standing at the top of the stairs, hands on her hips, and looking very dutiful and menacing, if not very alert. At the sound of the door opening, she whirls, a smile crossing her normally stony face. Well, it is good to see you all. Welcome back.
Hello, Callie. What did we miss?
About 5 days, some of your friends from the airship have come to visit. She looks around the corner. And we've souped up security around the castle to make sure that everything is safeguarded while you recover. Welcome back, my liege. She puts her hand over her heart and gives you a slight bow. Let me put Eris on the map here. I personally ensured that no one would disturb your rest.
Well, thank you for that. So did we miss a whole crowning ceremony? Is it all official? Eris is king now? Everything hunky-dory?
No, you didn't miss anything. The only thing that you missed was, She looks at Wang Doodle, Bonsai, Rain, and Eris, and notices Drion is not there. I'm sure you talked with Drion?
Yep, he just wants some extra time. A little extra rest.
It's understandable. He gave Kire a nasty wound.
Yeah, I think we're all trying not to talk about that excessively.
Oh, right. He won't be joining us.
No, I think he wants some more rest for now.
All right. Well, a lot of your friends were actually in the meeting room up to the north, but this is your house. You can do whatever you want. Am I relieved from my post, or would you like for me to prevent anybody from snooping down here while Drion is still resting?
We should absolutely ensure that nobody goes down to disturb Drion for
Yes,
a
ma'am.
fit time.
Of course, ma'am. I'll remain here. Please. After you. She gestures. And dare I say, it's good to see you all hale and whole. You around the corner, Rain, and Frank is having a very animated discussion with Ann Dennis.
Rit holds up a finger like she's going to say something. No. Don't have time for that.
I remember the last time I walked across the blue diamond dunes of Feronia. Hi, Rain. Hi, Bonsai.
Hi, Frank. Hi. I'm sorry. I don't remember your name.
I am Lord Ann Dennis, he says with a deep, echoing voice. I am speaking with the one you call Frank.
Yep, that's me. I've never met a mummy before. We're catching up.
Well, don't let us disturb your chat.
Okay, you're never disturbing, Rain. You have skin. I'm more disturbing. I'm all bones.
Have a good night, Frank.
You too, Bonsai. A good eternal night to you. As I was saying, as I watch the blue diamond dune sand flay the flesh off of any mere mortal,
You just hear Frank bullshitting his way to Ann Dennis, who just listens with the eternal patience of a mummy lord. Drian, are you in this scene now?
No, I'm just trying to watch the scene.
Okay. Drian.
He's got a little camera drone. That's actually what Wangdoodle made for him.
It's actually a cardboard cutout of Drian with a camera on it.
We just have an iPad.
I don't understand why he can't take this meeting from home. Why are you trying to mandate return to castle? Come on.
Return to castle.
Drian's on a work from home day. It's totally fine. It's allowed.
Sorry.
All right, we'll get in here so we can shut the door. iPad Drian.
This is how we flatten the curve, guys.
iPad cat. Most of your friends from the airship are currently sitting at a table. And it looks like there is a great feast going on. As you all open the door to enter, everybody stands up and claps and gives you a round of applause and a nice cheer. Woo! Yeah!
And then everybody claps.
Yay!
No.
Rain! You see Shar leap out of her seat and... out of the way, Eris. She hugs you.
Oh, we're hugging now. That's okay. Rain returns the hug awkwardly.
It's so good to see everyone. How are you all doing?
Oh, great. Just like we've been through a nightmare ringer and slept for 5 days.
Well...
Who's this Alphino looking motherfucker over here?
Look, what, Morris? He's always had white hair. Morris looks up. Huh?
This is Thancred.
This is Thancred. Morris waves. And he looks more excited to see Wangdoodle than anything else. Wangdoodle! He pulls out a chair for you.
Oh, thanks, Morris. Good to see you.
Yeah, good to see you.
Good to see you off the ship for once.
You sleeping for 5 days. Last time I saw you do that was after one of Lou's final exams. I remember staying up for 3 days studying for that thing.
Oh yeah. Did you ever find out what that small bang was that came from the exam room?
He chuckles a little too nervously. But no, why? It definitely couldn't have been some refined and slightly experimented on borean shard residue that I had processed in a chemical solution. He trails off. Definitely was not something I might have left in too long and wasn't keeping track of in a lot of my experiments, and maybe it expired? He shrugs.
Listen, Morris, it's fine. Everyone at some point or another overpolarizes a shard. Paralyzed? What am I saying? Oh, words are
It's stiff! What do you mean it's a rock?
These are minerals, Murray.
So, Morris, it's okay. Look, over-polarizing a shot, it's fine. Everyone does it, right? I mean, Esther, how many times do we do that?
Well, Lou was definitely obsessed with trying to recreate progenitor shards for a while and was trying to infuse a single borean shard with numerous elements in order to try and recreate it, especially to alleviate any sort of, power draws from the local dragons. I have to say, most of his experiments were just abject failures.
Yeah, I don't know why he didn't try to. Well, look, let's not talk shop in front of all these other people. But the point is, Morris, it's fine. It's fine. All right. You barely singed an intern. So, did you really fail?
We all know fire is one of the most chaotic and hard to harness elements. It was bound to have some sort of explosive reaction. That's just... it's nature.
What do you mean fire's hard to harness? Have you not seen my flamethrowers? Have you not looked at the Lou Mark II?
Through the iPad attached to the cardboard cutout of Grion, you fucking nerds.
This is what happens when we get too many artifices in a room.
But that's
Hey,
why you were Lou's
Rumors aren't allowed
star
to talk.
student.
I will take away your speakers.
Oh no!
I mean, I'm just an exchange student. I'm from the same lands that Rain is from. I mean, heck, look at me, he points at his ears. I'm human, not even supposed to be here. But Lou gave me a chance and a scholarship, and then, well, we're just...
Yeah, look where that got you. Exactly.
Rain, working with Wang Doodle back at Lou's lab was one of the more awesome experiences of my exchange. What?
I really don't want to hear any more about Lou's lab today. We just talked about spiders the whole way up the stairs.
But we...
Spiders that were in my hair.
Oh, Lou's
Lou.
spiders!
Yeah, Lou spiders.
Oh, man. What did we ever do with that spider pheromone? Remember we had a couple of tubs of it.
I think we, if I remember correctly, Lou wanted to put that in through the aerosol department, and then I remember seeing a box shipped out to like a druid circle.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, I wonder what they ended up doing with all those spiders. Huh.
I think it's probably better for legal reasons we don't find that out.
That sounds right. Everybody's just looking at this conversation and with horror.
Esther's... So anyway... Hi!
Hi, would we like to talk about Slow now?
We would love to. In fact, we got everybody here, and, well, I just want to hear what the plan is. Well, that and the Lunesties thought it would be safer if we were all here, but we did leave Harkin and Rowley on the ship to protect it.
Yep, let's not lose the ship while we're at it, but good thinking.
Esther nods.
So, Rain, everybody's here, and sounds like it's going to be the culmination of your adventures. Are we finally going to the Great Ice Library? Oh, I can't wait to read so many books.
Well, hang on a minute. Now, didn't we determine that we only get, like, one bit of information from the Ice Library?
Oh!
Are we assuming there's, like, a not forbidden section when we get there?
Well, gosh, I don't know. It could be, like, an actual library with books. Or maybe it's just like, a repository of knowledge. But the knowledge isn't necessarily contained in books. Would that technically still be a library?
Yep, okay, so let's clarify one point for everybody who may or may not be going. If any trans-dimensional, semi-deific being
It's
asks
oddly
you
specific.
what you want to asks you what you would like to know when you arrive at the library, we all agree that everybody keeps their mouths shut because only one person should respond, and that person should respond with, "What the fuck do we do to get rid of the snow?" Right? Right?
Oh,
Everybody in agreement?
Mm-hmm.
Wagdoodle.
Nodding all around.
Sorry, what? Yeah, sure. Yeah, I agree.
You just hear Morris whispering underneath his breath, "Oh man, if I could answer just one question, what would it be? What would I want to know?"
How do we get rid of
Mor-
Tiamat?
Morris, you gotta be careful. That was 2 questions you just asked. You wouldn't even be able to get both of those.
Oh good God, my head is... That's why I'm an artificer. My head is just full of questions. How can you just pick one?
Yep, and this is what brings us to probably the next order of business. Who's actually going to go to the ice library? Morris, out.
Aww.
Straight out. Sorry, Morris, you blew it already. You asked 2 questions after I told you to ask none.
But why?
It was a test. You failed.
Oh, that's 3 questions.
Morris, did you finish reading my documentation for the recent weapons upgrades for the ship?
I definitely did. He lies through his teeth.
Wangdoodle reaches into his rucksack and pulls out a very light reading level 600-page user manual.
Oh, you're giving me the Wangdoodle for dummies.
Well, I mean, I would give you the intricate one, but I did that 2 months ago. Where is it?
It's in my study.
Uh-huh. The one room where you don't do the thing it's named for.
Death rays for dummies.
Okay, well, listen, it was really interesting at the dragon head part, and then it started, there was some, like, arcana about, like, some powerful arcane magic emanating from it, but it didn't, it was too complicated.
Morris, did you miss the part in Appendix B where it talked about the magic funnel system so you could use the distributed power system? Did you not?
Listen, I've been really busy building a Borean reflex in order to encapsulate the emissions that the ship has been. Oh my God! Listen, it's green energy. I've just been trying to purpose it. Rain?
Morris, if you blow up my ship, being disintegrated will be the least of your worries.
Noted. I should go study. He takes the paperwork. I should go study in the study. Or the studying happens. It was 8 cannons, right, Wangdoodle?
Yes, it's 8 cannons, but 4 of them are modular, but they're all tied to the same power system with the same funnel distributor. Just go. Just go. I do not want to go over it here.
Oh, man.
We did not set the meeting to go through the documentation that you were all supposed to read before the meeting.
Morris leaves in order to do some very heavy studying.
I tell the guy once, it's like, look, if I write up documentation that says, so you want to eliminate all possible threats in the nearest vicinity, and he doesn't even get through the first paragraph.
Yeah, but Morris is the type of person who thinks that he himself is a threat.
He's also the kind of person that'll put a Borean shard in what he thinks is acid, but it's actually a base.
We're never gonna get those stains out.
This was weirdly like a fantasy version of an Amazon Game Studio meeting, in case you all were curious. Like, nobody didn't read the documentation. Like, they were shamed out of the meeting.
Talk shit about him afterwards.
Yep, yeah, 100%. They would close the blinds and then just begin shit talking. Yep, 100%.
I love Morris, but it's just all I can do and think about is that, Lucaris. Borean shards are his specialty. He's been just obsessed with trying to figure out, what exactly to do and how to harness that power. I kind of don't blame him for not really looking at the documentation, but he should really get his mind out of the Well, the crystal
Esther-
problem.
Esther, we have like a 30-minute on the books for tomorrow to talk about Borean shards. I don't think that's part of this meeting agenda.
Right. Attention! Attention, everyone! 1, 2, 3. Where's Dreon?
Oh, Dreon's over there. You see the little goofy cardboard cutout with the whiskers?
You hear like 6 seconds later as you begin talking, I'm here.
Oh, he just uncued his microphone. Okay.
Sorry, I don't know what happened. I'm having tech issues over here, but keep going.
Yeah, why are you a cat? Do you have some sort of filter on?
I'm not a cat.
Man. Oh, looks like you're in Hawaii. That's a really nice Zoom background.
Sorry, can I ask who is taking meetings for that? I know we have a project manager here. Is she taking notes for the meeting?
Are you taking notes? Are we taking notes? Who's taking notes?
I think he means you, Shah.
Oh,
That's fine.
Meeting minutes.
Meeting. All right, let's get this show on the road. Shar wraps the table. Yes, we have all brought everyone here today off of the Audacity and into the lovely home of Rain Silversong for a very specific reason. And what is that reason, everyone? Laurel raises her hand. Yes, Laurel? To party? No. But you're very close.
All right, Laurel, you're out as well. You didn't read the meeting agenda. Goodbye.
Laurel sighs. I thought we were all getting along.
She also has an outstanding lawsuit. Could be a liability if she stays in this meeting.
Yeah,
That's
legal
actually
counsel-
true. Yeah.
Our legal counsel has advised us to not have you in these meetings.
Laurel leaves.
Well, that would have been fine if she stayed, but that's fine. I understand.
So, did anybody read the meeting agenda? Anybody?
Shar raises her hand immediately.
I mean,
That's
I would
it.
hope so. You wrote it, right, Shah?
I did.
I just noticed Mora being conspicuously silent.
Mora is very busy eating bread.
This is what happens too in meetings. Like, once some people get shamed, everybody else shuts up real goddamn quick.
Oh, yeah.
Minddoodle now realizes he didn't put hands that could be raised on the tablet on a tripod on a Roomba.
You are definitely hearing noise from a gacha game coming from Treon's mom.
I'm
Dream,
sorry,
will you
where's
stop pulling?
Sorry, let me mute. That's not what it sounds like.
What is-
They're $2.99 a spin.
What is that clacking sound? Somebody has a really loud keyboard.
All right, who's the keyboard? Who's the keyboard guy? Can you shut up?
That's me again. Hold on. Sorry, I'm muting myself.
Yes, Rain, would you like me to call this meeting to order?
Oh God, please, yes, already.
All right, everyone. Today, we've left the Audacity and gathered here today for a few very specific reasons. One, we have a coronation to worry about, and that does mean, even though we did kick Laurel out, we do have a little bit of party planning. Now, this is very important because it's not for us, it's for the people. So we do need to designate somebody or some few of us who are going to be on the party planning committee. We need to make this a celebration that makes Maginox, a destination that people want to go to again. We need to highlight all of the awesome things about Maginox and, make sure we celebrate the people inside. Honestly, Maginox has just been under this oppressive bubble of the vampires for so long that people have forgotten that the night brings succor, and it brings excitement and rest and rejuvenation and parties.
That sounds like a great action item, Shah. Who wants to take that one?
We need a project manager for the party planning.
Yep, I'm gonna volunteer Mora. That sounds like a great task for Mora.
More mouth stuffed with bread. Me?
Mhm. Yep, and especially I think it'd be especially good for some unseelie fae outreach.
But, there's a large feline on the table. 1 second. Well, hey,
But
Tabby.
Drion's not in the room.
Tabby, come here. Come here. Okay, he's sniffing the matcha. Yeah, it's not for you. Sniffing the soup. Okay, also not for you. Come here. Shit or get off the pot, my big lad. There we go. All right, in the lap. Oof. All right. Oh. What? I've never... Okay. Dare I remind you the last time I planned something, like breaking into a certain fairy lord's vault, that it all went to shit.
I dare say that planning a large festival/party is nothing like breaking into a fairy lord's vault, but duly noted.
Well, I guess I do have some minor skill in coordination. I think I can make this happen. So, celebrations, party, and you said unseelie fae outreach. What, so we...
Well, yeah, we want to reattract, the unseelie fae who left Maginox. I can think of nobody better than the former princess of the previous court.
So sorry, just to check. This is actually a retargeting campaign. This is not acquisition.
Yes, we're trying to bring back lapsed users.
Ah, okay. Well, yeah. Let me sync up with the product design.
And retention. It is also a retention tool.
Wonderful. I think Mora will be very busy, both trying to get some of the unseelie fae interested, but I know they can't resist a party. Perfect choice, Rain. Mora sulks.
Morris sulks, but nobody's around to see it. So does he really?
Now, since it is party planning, Rain, would you like Laryl to help a little bit? I know we did kick her out for saying party, but she wasn't entirely wrong.
Do we really think that Laryl is the best, face of the brand right now, given the fact that, well, we kind of deposed her in the Old World Order?
I think Laryl does bring something to the table. It's important to show that she, still as a figurehead of her house, has allied herself with the Lunestes in support, and those that would naturally follow Laryl will naturally follow the Lunestes. Honestly, I think her involvement in it, if it's positive and seen to the local drow populace, could honestly do us a solid. Oh, I learned that in Borealis.
All right, fine. Put both their names next to the action item.
All right, Mora.
She does also have a large following, so as we look at laddering up all these messages, it's important that we have these big channels to broadcast from. Sorry, I'm done. This is killing me inside.
As Drion dies inside. Wonderful. Shall we move on to...
was so good at digital marketing.
God damn it.
Well, the D's in the name. Come on.
You know what? That's fair.
And thus, the coronation is going to be a very important event, especially for you two. Little lovebirds, she points at Rain and Iris.
So, Shah, to get down to maybe brass tacks here, addressing the elephant in the room, can we talk about security? If we're going to be waiting a really long time to actually, go to the whole ice library because we're doing a party and a coronation, we probably need to worry about security, yes?
That is true. And we also do need to have the coronation before you all go trapezing off into the Great Ice Library. It's important that the leadership is settled before you potentially disappear again.
Not entirely sure that I agree with those priorities, but if that's what was decided, I guess, in our last meeting.
It is quite important. Maginox is currently without a leader, and unfortunately, there have been some rumblings in the city. A little bit of unrest, a little bit of opportunists, And we want to just keep everything on the up and up. Establish the pecking order. House Lunesti is back.
I hate everything about this meeting.
What? You don't like my marketing? Well, I thought that was a perfectly fine tagline. House Lunesti. Is that not riveting enough?
I'm not saying that it's not important, Shar. I'm just saying that maybe we de-scope it a little bit, get Eris coronated, while, myself, Bonsai, Wang Doodle Drion, we'll go deal with the whole Ice Library circumstance, and then we can always circle back up later. Have a nice wedding, it'll be great. But I don't think you need a king and a queen on day one.
What? Don't be ridiculous. Of course you need a king and a queen on a day one. We have a budget, Rain. We can't just have two coronations. That's ridiculous.
If we're bringing this down to an MVP, I think a king is sufficient, is what I'm saying.
I would also add that this is January. We have to have multiple beats over the course of the year. We can't just shoot our whole marketing budget in January.
But the entire budget is for this event.
I at least switched into character.
Oh my god. This is why Bonsai can't take us seriously. I just want to be clear.
Well, I'm taking it very seriously.
Bonsai thinks they're still in the nightmare.
But also, this tells the people that we, as a group, have our shit together, and hopefully a lot of this dissension will be a non-issue. Rain, I do think it's very important that you and Eris are crowned together. It's about unity. And don't forget our relations, she gestures, with Mora. Mora nods and continues shoveling buttered bread into her mouth. She has a point. Honestly, the sooner that we, at least some of the unseelie face, see that Eris is good and wed to a nice, southern woman. She chuckles and keeps eating bread.
Please stop describing me in different, unique ways. It's not necessary.
Apologies. But I do think it's good for a good look. The sooner that they, and I do mean the royal they, see that Maginox is no longer a place ruled over by power-hungry vampires and is now willing to usher back in court representation, the unseelie Fae, if they do decide to return, can also strengthen Maginox in case you are gone for an extended period of time to the Great Ice Library.
All right, fine. Will this at least get rid of the Crichton woman when we do this?
That, Shar nods. That is also a perk. Once the coronation happens, the Crichton woman can't really do anything about it. You are queen, and you could just banish her from your lands. Of course, there are social repercussions to that, but I think if we just show her that these things can proceed normally, she should be out of our hair lickety-split.
All right, fine.
I know it seems like just a party, but it is important on many fronts that we've been trying to build. So,
how much time do we need to pull all this together? I imagine we'll need some preparation time for the excursion to the Ice Library anyway, but...
Project manager? Mora thinks. Certainly could, with Lyra's help, she does have a lot of the drow at her disposal. And doing some hiring. We do have a specific budget for this. And also, Mora pulls out a shard of darkness from her pocket. I think we'll have some special invite guests. I think we could make this happen certainly within a fortnight.
All right, great. Sounds good.
And plus, we need to give the people... Oh, sorry. Shar would be saying this. Plus, we need to give the people ample time in order to ramp up their excitement. You can't just say, oh, tomorrow's the coronation. It makes it seem shitty and rushed. No, people need to anticipate. They need to look forward to it. They need to be excited. And then it all culminates in a grand festival that celebrates your unification as a beautiful couple ruling over the eternal night of Maginox. Oh, this is so romantic.
Oh, you know what it needs? It needs an announcement of an announcement.
Oh yes, we will absolutely announce the announcement.
What if hear me out here. I have a couple ideas. What if we let out some information that we're going to have an announcement like early, kind of like, like a secret got loose, right?
Oh.
And then we immediately deny it and then say, give us 2 weeks and we'll respond to it.
Mora immediately looks interested. Secrets, you say?
Yeah, something that doesn't actually tell anything, but more like, some stuff's happening, stuff's happening up top. There's been a lot of rumblings, a lot of secret meetings going on behind closed doors.
I like this.
And then you say, this is terrible. A terrible crime has happened. There's been an invasion of privacy. Secrecy is no longer a thing. And then a week later, you come out and say, all right, here's our official announcement. And then you get them ready for like a 2-week run up that gives you an extra week to find everyone you need to do what you need to do.
That is absolutely brilliant, Mike Doodle. I love it. A secrecy campaign beforehand. Mora nods along with this. You know what? That's actually kind of brilliant. I like it.
You know what? Maybe we can just skip it. Can we come back to the next meeting, the next sync on this with a roadmap, perhaps?
Of course.
Thanks.
Sure,
Now, can we talk
right,
about security, please?
Security, yes. Initially, we do have increased reinforcements from Catherine Ravensblood. Significant amount of Ravensblood guards, especially from her home, have been repurposed to House Lunesti. This has left a significant gap in Catherine's defenses and her personal property. However, this is more important.
Given
But
the
there's something to
likelihood
keep in
of
mind.
demon incursions, perhaps we can reach out to the city of Mears through Thorn to see if any of those demon hunters are available.
Oh, absolutely. I think that's a fantastic idea. And in fact, we should invite Thorn to the coronation. But I think at least having Thorn back and ensuring that there are no errant devils and demons poking around will also serve as double duty to avoid, if there are any actual demons or devils poking around, that the Crichton woman does not see them and go, aha, you dummy, you still have demons and this place is festering with demons. It's like if you find one cockroach, you just know there's a lot of cockroaches hidden somewhere in the walls.
Hey, Esther, do you think we still have, or do you think we still have access to those nullification ward drones that we used to use around the slow containment area?
A significant amount of those were actually repurposed for the Ascendant ceremony. They worked to an extent. I think we could pick some up, or at least import a couple from Borealis.
I mean, at least that way we could at least stop stop people from showing up or opening rifts or teleportations where they're not supposed to.
Eris actually nods with that. This does touch on something that I had brought up with you previously, Rain, is the... He clears his throat and kind of gestures downstairs. The ley lines that House Lunesti sits on and had once commandeered. The line that has been choked by Tapio's thorny brambles seems to be freeing itself. So this might be a valid concern that we may want to reinforce. The ease of travel for us also means the ease of travel, potentially, for others. Esther writes some notes down.
Repurposed nullification, magical nullification devices. Okay, I got it.
What else about security, Rain? Certainly with these nullification devices and the whatever Eris is talking about, we can ensure that nothing comes in on these ley line points. However, Eris, do you know of any other particular points within Maginox that we should be worried about or reinforce? He thinks.
Well, there's apparently an entire Feronian army of automatons beneath that pyramid. That's a bit of a concern now.
A concern, but perhaps unrelated. Not sure if that has anything to do with the ley lines, but the timing is obviously conspicuous. And Dennis has been cooperative, to say the least, so far.
Oh, don't forget about your subterranean tunnel system.
Oh yeah, there's like some civil war brewing down there. I think also was brought to the table when we discussed the mummy situation.
Oh, yes, I
And
do
a
have that.
lich.
We have Char's writing things down. I did not have that in my notes, but I will write down potential lich underlined 3 times.
Put it in quotes, please, Shar.
Quote, potential
Lich.
lich. Quote, questionable lich. Yes. This army... Can I have some more details? Yes? Anyone? Anyone? Who is the project manager of the Clockwork Army?
There's that little green fellow, Coslow Greenfinger.
Seems like somebody I'll have to touch base with.
He's in a different department. Yeah, you have to reach out.
Of course. Is this somebody we should also reach out to in regards to party planning?
He could set up some like celebratory pyrotechnics for sure.
Oh, he's a firework vendor.
Coslow, I'm familiar with his work. I know what he could do, and if he doesn't, it wouldn't be that hard to repurpose a couple tools.
Oh, interesting. I'll see what he brings to the table. Perhaps I'll make a meeting with him.
Yeah, just tell him that you want to end a ceremony with a bang. I'm sure he'll be all for it.
Oh, fantastic. End a ceremony with a bang. Beautiful fireworks show. Celebratory. I like this. Wonderful. Let's continue talking about security. So we have some sort of undead army underneath Maginox. Oh, and yes, civil war brewing underneath. So do we need to worry about putting any of these nullification lines? Do we know of any, aside from House Lunesti? No? Okay.
I'm not entirely sure. I mean, if anyone was going to try to attack us and they would come from underground, the biggest thing is that they would be able to just come up, through the floor or something, or at least that's how I would do it.
Do we at least know where these tunnels might be, so we can at least have people scouting them out to give us advance warning if something was to pop off?
I mean, the last time I actually had time to get any information about it was when, we were looking at that pyramid, and that's when we were told about the whole, underground, the whole community thing. So I haven't been able to explore any of it, but if someone's got a map, it'll help.
Wangdoodle, Oh god, I totally forgot to do this at the start of the session. One of the pieces of paperwork that you had picked up on the table where you were sleeping, it was actually a note from your mother.
Oh, how nice.
It reads, "My dearest brood Wangdoodle, I hope you are doing so well, my bright little delight. I wanted to let you know I have come to find new residence in the mountains of Maginox. I would love it if you would come visit sometime and see your brothers and sisters again. Love, your brood mother, Sick.
That letter, well, does a little bit to warm Wangdoodle's heart. He's immediately suspicious.
Your mom lived in Borealis with many of your brothers and sisters and cousins that she has collected on the way. You don't know how she got to Maginox, or why she got to Maginox, or why all of your brothers and sisters are now in Maginox, but that's interesting.
of course, Mom moves to Maginox. She doesn't talk to me for years because of the field I decide to study. But now all of a sudden she wants to just see me again because, oh, he's out there, he's doing something, he's made something of himself. Yeah, well, okay, Ma, that's fine. You still haven't forgiven me for my book. He immediately silences as he realizes he's just kind of talking to himself in the middle of the meeting.
Wangdoodle stuffs the note back in his pocket.
Right. So anyway, yeah, I don't know much about the tunnels, but I do want to ask about this whole the whole thing about the house thing, right? Because that's been in a lot of discourse, right? If you're worried about dissension, why not change it instead of saying a ruling house again? Say something else, it's time for the Silver Song Saga or something else, Change the name, rebrand it.
Oh, I love a good rebranding. Eris kind of clears his throat. There may be a requirement, perhaps a prerequisite, that it should have Lunesty in the name. But we can talk a little bit more about rebranding. I am a bit concerned about the security. If there is something bubbling up between the Vakarans and the Magmari underneath Maginox, that could put a significant damper on our plans. He sits and thinks.
I mean, how friendly are you with whomever, whatever, however, lives down there?
Personally, not at all. I have not had any discussions with the Vakarans in quite some time, but the lava drow are quite reclusive, and their initial drive, what had driven them to live underground and make a pact with an elemental fire lord, was the desperation to escape the undead. So, understandably, many of these somewhat long-lived Vakarans hold little love for what Maginox harbors in the darkness, whether that be reborn or the particular flavors of undead peoples we harbor within our walls.
Okay, I mean, I hear you on that, but, if you're able to foster some kind of agreement or, alliance with them, right? You find some middle ground. I mean, not only will you be able to protect yourself from the underside, right? But then you've got your diplomacy, you've got some extra people, you've got extra trade routes. I mean, the market share alone and just getting able to weaponize these guys. Anyway, listen, I think it's a good idea if you go talk to them.
I agree with you, Wangdoodle. I feel like this is something I should handle personally. Sending an emissary may not have the same sort of impact we are looking for.
Yeah, I mean, especially if you're going to turn this into the era of Eris or something, you want to make sure that you're there and you're making a new start.
And most importantly, we need to find out just what exactly is happening underneath Maginox, and that includes Vakaris. What I've heard is troubling, to say the least. They've lost their leader, and, well, thanks to some of our new allies in town, which does include this curious Coslow fellow, they have confirmed that there has been a death in the Vakaris leadership. And their royal line has ended. And understandably, now that there's an opening, I do believe that this unrest would only continue to get worse. I will focus on this, and at least try and make sure that what is happening underground will remain stable until the knowledge that we require is gathered from the Ice Library. Rain Eris's kind of go-get-em attitude is quite different, and he's filled with a confidence that reminds you of his days in Borealis, thinking about the angles and trying to smooth them over. This is definitely where Eris can shine.
Mm-hmm. And Rain is immediately concerned because also Eris is the one with the big glowing target on his back.
He is, yeah.
Maybe that's not something you do alone, dear.
Understandably so. I can't go missing now, can I?
No, and neither can that Moonblade. I love you, but that Moonblade is also very important.
Don't love the Moonblade more than me, my dear. He chuckles and looks back to Shar. Anything else about security? We have the Raven's Bloods. We have the Somniari here. I dare say the rebuilt House Lunesti is a fortified castle, and we have powerful allies within. Let us not overstep our bounds and tread carefully, at least for the next few weeks. Do we have any other action items on the list, my friend? Char is looking over the meeting paperwork. Let's see, coronation. Oh, and the specifics on the ice library. So, all we currently know is that at one point within Isir, the ice library actually existed, and it was a place where scholars could go and learn fantastical arcane arts. Until it was, well, obliterated by those same arcane arts. So is this ice library going to be a physical thing, or is it going to be another venture into the unknown? Shall we plan a course to Isir? I'm not quite sure. Can you give me some specifics on, just exactly how this is accessed? Shar might not know how to access the Great Ice Library. All she knows is that you're chasing these pigments. But you do have the painting that you need to access the Great Ice Library. And you have all the pigments, and you have to paint a portal on it. And then the portal will open. So this is something that you will do, essentially, at your leisure. You have all the pieces.
Through a portal, Shar. In fact, I don't even think we'll take the Ascended with us on this one.
Very well. I'll not get any sort of ice-reinforcing requests out to Wangdoodle. A little concerned it might be a little chilly for the Audacity.
That is a good point, though. Perhaps we can make sure that Wangdoodle, your retrofit, is complete in case the Audacity is needed for defense of the city.
Yeah, I could definitely do that. I would very much like to have a target range to make sure all the systems are working correctly. But Esther, I know I put in that request. I know I started that ticket system for getting the exhaust upgrades so that we can actually start using it as a heating system, auxiliary heating system.
Oh yes, as an update, we're about 74% complete just on rerouting and rebuilding the piping system. So once all that is done, we should have all of the, at least the proper outlets and conduits in order to make the retrofit happen.
Ah, excellent. And if Morris finishes his research on the filtration system, then we shouldn't have to worry about exhaust fumes going where they're not supposed to.
I'll make sure, and I'll stay on Morris's butt to make sure that all goes through, and then during the coronation, we'll have the Audacity flying overhead to make sure that no airborne threats will interrupt the ceremony. Plus, it'll be great advertisement for your mechanical upgrades.
Yep, nothing says security like overwhelming firepower from above.
Absolutely. You can count on me, Rain. I'll make sure all of Wangdoodle's upgrades go through, and we've got plenty of materials to work with, sent from Lou himself.
Always the utmost trust in you, Esther. Thank you so much.
Esther beams. Well, Rain, I think that was all on the agenda today. Well, aside from... She gestures to the food on the table. We did want to make sure that when you woke up that you all were well fed and ready to take on the day, but I'm worried that Dreon's going to miss all the good food. Should I bring him down a bowl?
I think Dreon knows where the food is if he gets hungry.
It's fine. Kire's got plenty of cake.
Ooh. That's what I was thinking, but I wasn't gonna say it.
That's packed full of calories.
Well, all right then. I think that was all for today.
Oh, we've had so much excitement happening.
So now it seems like we need to figure out what we're going to do to fill our time the next couple of weeks.
Mm-hmm. You have a little bit of time and at least to, I don't know, make yourself known about the city? Maybe get those rumors started? Show up in some popular place and get people chatting about their future queen? You know, a little bit of PR?
No, that will not be happening.
Oh. Well, then I guess we have everything. Meeting adjourned.
Char reaches for a big, thick piece of bread and just slathers it with butter.
Sorry, Sean, before everybody leaves and hops off the call, can you just run through the action items one more time?
Yes, so
Make sure those meeting notes get sent out again, you know, all that stuff.
She can actually just drop in the Slack channel. We're actually 10 minutes over.
Oh, yeah, that's fair.
Yes, we're definitely, our meeting is over and we are out of time. I'll send you the bullet points.
Sorry, everyone. I got to drop for another meeting.
Yeah, no, thanks, Wagdoodle. Good luck. Good luck with the engineering thing.
And at the very least, stop and take a breath. You don't have to be sinking your sword into something every week. Enjoy the food. Enjoy your friends. You've worked for all of this. Enjoy it. It's good to see you all happy.
Char rubs her eye.
That only works when the, end of the world isn't imminent, Char, but thank you for the sentiment either way.
Details.
I believe that is where we will end today's session, as we've had a little bit of catch-up from the Somniari ritual, and everybody from the Audacity has come down to help with the very important things coming up in Maginox. The coronation of a new king, a worthy king, with Moonblade in hand, and a strange and mysterious queen at his side from the southern lands, set to unite Maginox under a new banner. Seems
I think we could probably parallelize some of this work stream. We could probably just jump into the ice library while everybody else is working on this stuff. Like, there's no reason that it has to be stack ranked. I'm just saying.
Engineering would actually like it to not be paralyzed because, realistically, there might be some work about, some possible new vendor relationships that need to be set. We'd like to do it in consecutive, if that's okay.
I'm also really concerned from a messaging standpoint if we're doing Ice Library and the Coronation. Like, I really want all the messaging to ladder up to just one core message.
That's all fine, and that's all well and good, I think, in a perfect scenario, but, we do have to consider our runway here, guys.
But PR says that nothing is better for public relations than the leader of the world, the hero of the world leading your country.
And I appreciate that, but I think everyone in the room, I'm just going to say we're all thinking PR is dead. It's just content creators at this point. And that's really why we need to get Laryl Habaki back in here.
You cannot establish that she is the leader of the country before she is the actual leader of the country. You must be the leader of the country and then save the world.
Do we need to get Rain a Twitch stream? Is that what I'm hearing? At least on Instagram?
We think it would really help Rain connect with the audience. Honestly, in recent polling, she comes off as a little peevish, and we would really like to fix that by just getting her some FaceTime with the audience.
Yeah, Rain, go slum it. With the common folk.
We really didn't want to talk about this at the meeting, but, the brand loyalty has kind of been hurt by the recent reactions and to the development. So yeah, we kind of need to build this back up. We need that strong core before we really launch this product.
Yeah, not to mention with all the things that happen in Maginox, it's just sentiment's at an all-time low. So really got to put out a strong, unified front there and talk about why Rain, in her own words, is the best queen for Maginox.
I believe that building a cannon and then holding it to their head and then saying, if you don't vote for Rain, I'm gonna fucking kill you.
Or,
It's
sorry,
the
are
best
we,
course of
are we
action.
Devolver now? Did we just become Devolver?
Vote for Rain? No.
Also, I don't think we're a democracy yet.
Oh, this is a monarchy.
Yeah. mhm.
Oh, okay, sorry. This is actually Kojima Studios. My bad. I thought we were Devolver for a second, but this is Kojima Studios.
But also clearly putting the Audacity over Maginox and having it be essentially a floating massive disintegration gun that will dissuade any sort of people from coming in and fucking with Maginox is honestly brilliant.
Is the Audacity just Project Insight, Drew? Are we just are we Hydra?
That's Wang Doodle's Skunkworks project.
All right, I gotta go to dinner, but this was ridiculous. Thank you.
I enjoyed
I hated
it.
every
Stay
minute.
quiet,
Low
but I
ethic.
enjoyed.
Bonsai is learning that the interpersonal relationships are just as important as saving the world.
Life
I
is just
somehow
life. We
doubt
don't need to
that.
have all this complexity to it.
Yeah, I doubt that. I very strongly doubt that is the takeaway that Bonsai got from this.
This guy
Yep,
goes to
definitely
dinner at 4? This guy is crazy.
I gotta make dinner here soon too.
Oh my god, it's 4! Eat lunch!
Yeah, I got another thing at 6.
He's up in
Oh,
Seattle,
we can call
so
it
it's
lunch.
like
It's food. It's also freezing. It's like literally 20 degrees right now.
Oh
I
yeah,
am
it is cold.
Bundled up and I'm shivering.
Oh no. What is it here? Hold
taken
on.
like a leaf.
It's really cold. It actually froze here too. What is it now? It's okay. Well, it's not as cold. It's 47 now.
Oh,
Still,
nice.
still chilly.
Well, stay, as all Arctis locals say, stay warm. And thank you for the makeup session today. I greatly appreciate it. And then we will get rolling on some coronation and then a little bit of the ice library as we wrap up Ascended. So I will see everybody
Sweet.
on Wednesday. Sound good?
Sounds great. See you then.
All right. Thank you
Bye.
guys for giving me your time this weekend.
Same. Bye.
Appreciate it.
Bye-bye.
Bye. All right. And that's it for the Arctis bonus session.
Whoa.
Thanks for watching. Catch our shorts and our funny moments over on Play Arctis on Twitter and TikTok. And smash that like and subscribe button over on YouTube at ArctisDD. You can catch our VODs there. You can watch everything there. Catch up on the history, the lore, and why these guys are doing what they do. But we're a very small channel, and all of your likes and follows are super appreciated. And I'm Zarina, your DM. Hey! Thank you for watching. Wherever you are, as the locals say, stay warm. We will be back on Monday with some Kamos, and then Wednesday with some more Ascended. Thank you for watching, everybody. From the lurkers to the chatters, Nukiyashi, etc. Low guns, hey? Thanks for watching, and I hope to see you all next time.